through endless hordes, one step at a time. In the zombie apocalypse, they're feeling sublime. With a swing of a bat and a flash of a blade, TeamVenture moves, their courage won't fade. They laugh in the face of a world gone mad. At beavers they'll feast, there's no reason to be sad. Oh, TeamVenture, they're fighting tonight. In the glow of the neon, they're a dazzling sight. Zombies beware, for they're on patrol. And at beavers, they'll savor and find their soul. From dusk until dawn, the battle roars on. Pav with the courage gone brings the brawn. Each fight makes them stronger, each night they survive. Through despair and laughter, they come alive. In the heart of chaos, where hope can seem slim, they find their own rhythm on a rugged whim. Sharing stories and meals, under stars so bright. Together, they conquer the endless night. When the sun starts to rise and the streets turn to gold, at beavers they rest, tales of bravery retold. Life's simple pleasures, they're all they desire. In a world so cold, it's their warmth, their fire. Oh, TeamVenture, they're fighting tonight. In the glow of the neon, they're a dazzling sight. Zombies beware, for they're on patrol. And at beavers, they'll savor and find their soul. From dusk until dawn, the battle roars on. Pav with the courage gone brings the brawn. Each fight makes them stronger, each night they survive. Through despair and laughter, they come alive. In the heart of chaos, where hope can seem slim, they find their own rhythm on a rugged whim. Sharing stories and meals, under stars so bright. Together, they conquer the endless night.
Unmute. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to RedNex News Weekend Edition. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed the jazz. A little bit of housekeeping. Of course, this is for entertainment and educational purposes only. We're hoping to have a lot of fun with y'all today. We're just kind of clowning around. Don't take anything too serious. Feel free to chat with us. We would like to chat with y'all today as we go through the world news and catch up on what's going on in this crazy, crazy world. And we have plenty to cover today, so we may as well get started. I don't know if I'm sure a lot of people know this crazy person. What do you need?
Crazy person. I need you to turn do the thing that I told you to turn off to turn it back on.
What, browser sound through?
Yeah, to just have it go through Discord. I realize I need to mute YouTube so I can hear you.
Because you're going to hear yourself. Yeah, that's going to mess you up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're still having fun figuring out the little kinks here to make sure we both... Yeah, baby, come on out. We'll love to have fun with all y'all. We can roll around and see what pops up and talk about it.
You never
but
know
until
what might
then,
come out of our mouths.
Yeah, well, or in, who knows?
Potholes.
But,
or in. You never know what might go in our potholes.
All right. Well, speaking of, I mean, Lily Tino, I guess that's a pretty good transition. I'm sure everyone knows this weirdo. Very... let's say obtuse about their gender and goes out of their way to kind of fuck with people. So happy to see them getting fucked with. Hold on one moment.
Oh, it's a screen problem.
Let's go ahead and see what's going on with Lily Tino for a moment.
This individual is a trans male to female. And they decided to go to Disney World and take pictures in the women's bathrooms.
So for anyone who doesn't know this person, they like to go around to different restaurants and film themselves eating and then hopefully catch the waiter, quote unquote, misgendering them. So often the waiter will say, sir, or whatever, and give him the bill. And then this person will freak the hell out, make a crazy scene, It's just like, I asked not to be called sir, this and that and the other thing.
They do it on purpose?
I mean, it has to be. You can't continuously go out into public and then be like, oh my God, you called me a sir. Like, really? Like, what do you think?
Why would they do that? For, like, attention, you think?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay.
And then, so...
Oh, they're recording it, so it's on their TikTok. Oh,
yep, so they throw it up on their YouTube. And they actually... This person actually does some really weird shit. And, like, there's, like, a children's channel called Miss Rachel. And it's, like, for, like, 3-year-olds. And it teaches them to, like, talk and, like, I don't know, colors and whatever. I don't know. It's, like, kindergarten shit, right? Preschool shit. So this person dressed up like Miss Rachel and was like, oh, let's talk about pronouns and what gender is and da-da-da and this and that. And, like, has a OnlyFans and, like, all this kind of weird shit and always going back to kids. But then, so obviously all of that's, like, cringe, but probably not illegal, right?
Right.
But this, what they did, however, is illegal. So in Florida, they don't put up with shit, man. Oh, we're gonna have to pull up that sheriff. Let me see. Florida. Yeah, this guy. All right, we'll watch this in a second. But Florida does not play around, man. You don't go to Florida and then expect good things to happen if you're being a fucking weirdo. It's just not going to work for you. So this person decided to and recorded themselves saying, I'm not sure what the laws are here, but I'm going to do it anyway. So they go into the bathroom and then start taking, like, selfies. And that is illegal to take pictures in a bathroom in Florida. So now a bunch of the people that are, like, in the photos are coming out and, like, trying to press charges, also, like, trying to make a bigger deal out of it for this person. But let's see what's going on.
Yeah, let's find out. Let's find out.
Is that Disney World is in Florida.
Bathroom selfies got y'all real upset, huh? Saying, oh, Lily, you can't take selfies in the bathroom. It's not appropriate. There's also talk of me getting sued for my bathroom pictures at Disney. As far as I know, I am not getting sued. And
well, let's see.
Because I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, well, actually, you're not getting sued. You are getting investigated by, like, the government.
Yeah, you're not getting sued. You have a criminal investigation. You're going to jail, bitch. No one's coming after your money.
Yeah, they're coming after your freedom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Miss Rachel's super popular, and then this kind of weirdo.
Investigating this, we do not tolerate men or boys in women's and girls' restrooms.
Well, that didn't take long at all, did it?
So, I'm sorry, just to clarify, Miss Rachel is, like, a legit, like, educator of young children. Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that was
she's
clarified.
legit,
I don't
just,
actually know about her because I don't have any kids, especially not 3-year-olds, so...
The only reason I know about her was this, and then some, like, one other video had referenced her before about something.
She was a little perturbed about this individual person.
Yeah, no pictures in the potty. And then apparently like a young child is like some like preteen or something is like, we'll see it later if we get that far, but is like pressing charges against Lily Teen.
Well, yeah.
So good.
He should.
Yeah, you're not getting sued. You're getting investigated.
Weirdo.
Yeah, you're not getting sued. You're getting investigated.
With family, friends, and fireworks.
And then, so this person also, while at Disney World, it does like this
ironic.
Taking a metric ton of medication and decongestants.
We'll see some of it. All right, she's just talking about being sick.
From Bizarro World, I would like to.
You're gonna get a break. This workers, you're just an annoying piece of shit.
Going on is trauma. Lots and lots of trauma. But to quickly recap, for those of you who aren't familiar, and obviously count your blessings for that, Tino is a trans-identified male who continually...
When do you think you should disclose if you're trans on a dating app? When do you think someone should disclose on the app before sex?
In the title, like at the very top.
Yeah, it should say trans warning.
Like line 1.
Line 1, I got a wiener!
I think they do that like in the personals. Like they'll be like I don't know. I don't know what they put, but like back in the day when there was just the two genders, it'd be like SFW for single female white or something like that. Or maybe it was
I don't know what any of those things mean, but yeah,
I'm sure there are similar, acronyms.
It'd
for
be like
that.
T
for like shorthand, quick identification,
XPP
like, I ain't interested in that flip or whatever.
Yep, not interested. Moving on. But these people get so upset. They're like, "Why does no one give me a chance?" Like, excuse me. Yeah, I got an outie, not an innie.
I actually, that's like one of my criteria. I'm turned off by outies. Sorry to say that.
Yeah, I mean, and to each his own. I mean, geez.
Yeah, it's to each his own. So people probably don't care about that at all.
And like you're trying to trick people, and guess what? People don't want to be tricked.
For those of you who aren't familiar, and obviously count your blessings for that, Tino is a trans-identified male who continually upsets...
So how do we get a poll on that? So far we have, it should be the first thing stated in any communication as a warning flag. I think literally everyone would agree with that except for these type of people. And then they want to say, not until we're currently having sex, should I even mention it. Like, don't worry about that poke. It's nothing.
I agree with Ziggy. It was a great line.
Online for a multitude of
great movie.
Including,
what is that, a basketball?
But not limited to going into
with a fucking chocolate smear down their face.
What is she? She's got like a balloon, and she's like, I don't even know. I don't know. He, she,
harassing weight,
they,
getting misgendered.
I think this is the reason why people don't like this person.
Oh, they brought a little dog baby.
Is because
I didn't notice
they
that
go in
before.
there and they harass and call police like low-income service workers.
Well, I
feel
approve
that's one of
that.
the cardinal sins in terms of like doing content on the internet is that if you are harassing and being annoying to like service workers, you're just an annoying piece of shit.
I mean, that's true. If you yell surprise,
and then trying to get free meals.
I mean, if you got that far and you're like surprise to an extent. No, you know what? I'm not even going to give it to you. I'm trying my best, but I can't do it. Sorry. But also, while at Disney World, now they're talking about how they had their testes removed and doing like a little visual cue here. So we took this off, and then
in her hair,
present and using food to illustrate.
And then apparently, this is what they did to the wiener to make it into a vagina. Is they cut it and then flipped it inside out, so it becomes like a pocket. Which is, again, so we're at Disney World, kind of showing, we're doing a recording showing how we cut the wiener into a vagina.
Surgeries, skin walking as children's,
and this is the Miss Rachel impersonation. So Miss Rachel wears like his overalls and has her hair up and whatever,
and wears the like cookies in the hair.
Yeah, it's this like kind of hair thing. And
their ears. I'm sorry, I actually thought those were cookies.
Very uncomfortable.
Trans women.
They're like Mickey
All right,
Mouse.
so we have a slight delay. You're
Minnie Mouse
looking
ears.
at the previous shot, but yeah.
I've been trying to say that everybody said that was transphobic. That's one thing I agree with. True. True.
I have been misgendered 3 times in the past 24 hours at restaurants.
I have been misgendered 3 times in 24 hours. Also, notice the little choker thing that's holding the.
Yeah, I don't know about that. They're hiding the apple of the atom.
Well, I think it's male, female, and whatever I feel like at the moment.
Seems like nose rings are also a thing.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it's all for the distraction. It's so you don't pay attention to this thing or that thing down there.
Sleight of hands. Look at this hand, not that hand.
I mean, frankly, I feel like these people too, and I don't know, sometimes I feel like crazy saying these people, but their hair, even that Willow person, their hair was kind of like weird. Like, this is not normal hair. Like, they're trying to do something like whatever, but it's like so bad. Like, no woman's hair would look like this.
No, that's true.
So I'm not sure, like,
I think it's because their hair is thinning, but they're growing what they have really long. Kind of like a comb.
You think that's what I don't know, maybe.
Honestly, I would just suggest shaving their head and going with a wig, but I understand wigs get kind of itchy. So I mean,
Well, you don't have to shave.
I would do
You
it
could just go
anyway,
short
but-
and then clip it in or whatever. I think that's how it works.
oh, like the what do they call them? Extensions, I think. That makes
Or
sense.
that, yeah.
They're like bonded in.
Oh
No, I have not
my
seen the
God,
women in the
Ziggy, are
South,
you about to
Ziggy.
tell me women in the South
What
look
did-
like this? What
what
are
do
you
they do?
trying to say, Ziggy?
What are you saying?
Ah!
Tell us. I've only seen Southern women in the movies, and they usually have very full, big hair. In the
Oh,
movies.
yeah, okay. So you're talking about those kind of Southern women. Got it. Yes, they do
Well, I'm
wear
not sure.
those things. I didn't know that was a wig for the longest time. I thought they I don't know, put a lot of time into
Same.
straightening their hair or something. I don't know, but I did not. For the
I was
longest
in my early
time, know
40s
that.
when I learned about that. I was like, really? Oh my gosh. It's all
Yeah.
fake.
I was talking
It's
to
all
a coworker and I had
Like,
commented and she was like, yeah, it's a wig. And she looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, oh.
Really? That?
I never, ever even, I was just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Nope. I think we're going to have to end it right
excuse me.
there. I don't know what I just stumbled upon, but I don't remember that piece of it. All right. So speaking of Florida, for anyone who missed it, we had that All Kings rally, like, I don't know, couple protest, whatever the fuck it was. Complete garbage, bullshit, trash
Yeah, it was like a month
by the
ago.
psychopaths. And somehow it showed up by me. I have never seen any of that bullshit, like fucking like protest anything. I like a little bit maybe, but it was everywhere. Someone had to have dropped some serious fucking bread to make all those people come out. There is no way. I had never
They popped
seen.
up like out of the woodwork. It was like,
Yeah, everywhere, just
protesting today. It's like,
everywhere.
really?
All of a
Why?
sudden.
like what is
Yeah,
it now?
no
It's like,
kings.
no
Okay,
kings.
we
I'm
don't
like,
have
what?
a king. Got it.
We don't have a king. We got a president. And he's-
Yep.
he's doing a pretty
And
good
they
job.
were
So, I
protesting
don't know.
no
I mean, there's
kings
some
in
bad, but there's a
America
lot of
while
good.
in Europe. Unbelievable. It's like they
Yeah, in the
actually have a
UK,
king.
Where they
Yeah, it was
have
in
a
the
king.
UK.
Yeah.
It was in the
That
UK. My bad.
that was
Yeah,
awesome.
exactly. It's like, holy crap. You're at the U.S. Embassy in the United Kingdom protesting
poor
against
Charles.
kings.
It's
It
like,
just
what?
doesn't
What
even
the-
make any... So do they
What
have
is
a fucking
going
brain
on?
cell between their ears? I don't get it.
My understanding is that No Kings 2.0 vanished.
Well, good.
Like-
I mean...
And the story that I heard is on the internets is that the people who organized it just took the money and ran.
Well, no, they started investigating the people, and they were gonna fucking hit them with everything in the fucking book and start
I didn't know about
throwing
that part.
charges around like crazy. And guess
Then
what?
they
They're not doing it
vanished.
anymore.
Well, they're gone. They just nobody knows where they went or who they are. This is a mystery.
Yeah,
Big old
mystery. So, anyway, along that theme with the no kings or whatever, Florida was like very explicit. They're like, literally, if you throw a brick at one of us or get it, we will shoot you. You will be dead. We will kill you. If it's not clear yet, you're going to die. And they're also like, if you get in front of a car and you try and mob the car, we are going to run you over and drag you across the ground until you die. So don't do it or you will die. Like over and over. So
That's
let's take a look
actually
at what this
kind
guy
of
has to say.
Interesting. So you're like Bobby's saying we should follow the bricks. Where did the bricks come from?
Where do you see Bobby talking about bricks?
He says, didn't
yeah.
he see somewhere that they were shipping bricks into LA before the riots?
Really? I don't remember
And
that. But
well,
that's
anything
crazy.
you purchase like that has a paper trail. Just saying,
No.
finances can't buy
so-
and sell without recording it on pieces of paper and sharing it.
This
with
is the
parties
Florida
involved.
sheriff that kind of went out and was like, look, don't do it. Let's see what he has to say. But I'm happy to see he has the police officers' backs because all these other places, they tell the police they have to just take it. No.
Yeah,
That
not
doesn't
in
even make
Florida.
sense.
You're going to
Not in Florida.
be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us.
This is a different interview. He did a different one where he was way more aggressive. Like this is way.
This is calm.
This is calm, but it getting the same point across.
And in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here.
Oh, the
Throw a
pretty
brick,
puppers.
firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. If you resist lawful order.
That is how it should be. When the fucking sergeant comes out or what a sheriff says, if you go and... Well, first off, if you point a gun at an officer, what the fuck you expecting to happen? And frankly, what is your defense to say, oh, I have a right to throw a brick at you, bitch? Like, what is your defense here? What are you trying to say? Like, oh, this is like... How could anyone see this and be like, oh, this is like tyranny?
I don't know.
It's literally, if you throw a firebomb at me, I will kill you. Okay, that seems reasonable. I have yet to find myself in a position where I have needed to throw a firebomb at someone and expect to not be killed. Okay? It hasn't happened.
I would go with that. I don't think I have either. Or either. Never had an actual reason to throw a firebomb at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I missed it. I can't read good. I didn't see it said bricks in there until like 5 minutes later. I'm sorry. And... but yeah, this is... I'm not sure who necessarily was complaining about this, but like, why don't other states come out and say just like... We're not going to tolerate. Well, and frankly, why didn't LA? Like, what is up with that? Like, oh my God, how many millions of dollars of damage they did to the city? You didn't damage a government or like, you didn't hurt the Republicans. You damaged your own fucking city where you live.
There's a lot to say that they bust people in from elsewhere too.
Well, that's true, but I think a lot of it, though, is... But even bussing people in, you're bussing people in to break the place that you live at!
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, there's nothing but them. It's like, why are you... They're so stupid. They're like, oh, we're going to break all our shit, and that'll teach them.
I think LA is like the vast majority are Democrats. There are probably still some Republicans, like... who are just clinging onto their property, like hoping things will change and wondering how they can move.
I think a lot of people...
Northern California is known to be fairly conservative.
They're in like little communities and they have like a lot of buffer between them and the city, so it's very difficult for vagrants to migrate.
That makes sense.
So
those
these ones kind of go together. We watched a little bit of this already with Tim Walz, but I just want to reiterate, it's crazy. Last week we looked at, the crazy guy who went and shot the Minnesota lawmakers and this and that, and then all of a sudden, we shouldn't be all violent and all this stuff, even though who's the violent people?
Like
I
Tim.
don't know. It's crazy.
Mr. Timmy.
So this, Alina Habba, Florida man charged with threatening the U.S. attorney. Let's see.
Good afternoon. My name is Greg Kehoe. I'm the U.S. attorney for the Middle District of Florida. With me at the podium is Matt Fodor. He's a special agent in charge of the FBI for the Miami Field Division. This week, the Middle District of Florida grand jury indicted Salvador Rosotto for threats he made against the United States attorney for the District of New Jersey.
Isn't that like a food, a risotto? Hold on.
Risotto.
Oh,
I didn't see it spelled.
Okay, risotto. Yeah. Got it. All right, close.
Habba. The defendant was arrested in Orlando in connection with that indictment. By way of background, on May 19th, 2005, ex-user at Risotto Sal, who was later identified as the defendant, made a series of threatening posts on X social media platform.
So,
well, that's not nice.
So I want to be clear. I am very much about free speech and all this stuff. You want to post some crazy shit on X or whatever. As long as it's not like, you know, some terrorist shit or like telling people directly to go do some like fucked up shit, right? So normally like a story starts like this, like, oh, man posted something. I'm like, you know, I don't know. This doesn't seem like, you know, this gets into a danger zone of like, where's the line, right? And we really don't want to be crossing that line. But let's see what exactly this person had to say that I think will change the opinion here.
Including, how about 86 Alina Habba? Keep in mind this took place shortly after the controversy in the media about the use of...
So the whole, like, Comey, like, 8647 seashells thing. Like, oh, I didn't know what 86 meant. And, like, even though, you know, you're the director of the FBI, but you're so idiot you don't even know that, like, when it's like... okay. And he said, oh, it just happened to see those things on the ground. Like, he didn't do it. He just happened to see it. And his wife encouraged him. You know what I mean? Like, oh, my God. Fucking... Anyway, so this guy is saying kind of the same thing at 86, whatever. I'm still like, you know, yeah, you're an idiot, but it's also not necessarily directly much. It's you're just being stupid. Okay, whatever.
Of 86 and what 86 actually meant. The next, a slow, painful death for Habba. Eliminate Habba.
All right, now this one, okay, slow, painful death to Habba. Eliminate Habba. Okay, now we're starting to get into, like, call to action type stuff. Like, oh, slow, painful death, da-da-da, you hate the guy. Like, that's kind of fucked up, but whatever. Eliminate, well, now that's an action. Okay, still kind of like, well, meh.
86 traitor. Death penalty for all traitors.
86 traitor, death penalty to traitors. Okay, still kind of putting dots down, but we're not necessarily connecting lines yet.
I hope you die a painful death. To name...
I hope you die a painful death. Okay, still not great. Ziggy! Oh. My one screen, your thing, like, was all kind of crazy. Sorry, I thought your thing got messed up.
Yes. Thought he got bitten by a spider or something.
Many of those threats are listed in the indictment, but frankly, at this press conference, they are much too vulgar to quote. An investigation by the FBI.
So this person was more or less spamming on Twitter, kill this person, death to this person, slow and painful death to this person, like, still, honestly, to me it's a little bit borderline, but, I mean, we did just have a crazy person go around and shoot some lawmakers and whatever, and this and that, and like, the persistency of it, so I'm still... kind of on the fence of like you're kind of towing a line like that you probably shouldn't be towing, but you're probably still on this side of the line for now. However,
show the defendant resided in Orlando and was using an IP address in Orlando. The FBI and the United States Marshal Service took immediate action to identify Risotto and ascertain that Risotto had in fact made the threats in response to perceived official actions by United States Attorney Habba. The two-count indictment that you have before you alleges that the defendant transmitted interstate threats to injure the victim, U.S. Attorney Habba, and that the defendant was retaliating against U.S. Attorney Habba, a federal law enforcement officer, by threats. The allegations in the indictment that
So then that's where it gets even more complicated, right? Like, you know, he's in trouble and now he's retaliating. You're trying to intimidate an officer, da-da-da. Like, it's just... it's such a messy can of worms. It's like, why even go down that road? And then, you know, if we just take a quick reminder over here
to show they will fight for the working class. Governor Walz delivered the keynote address yesterday at the South Carolina Democratic Party State Convention in Columbia. He acknowledged he was part of last year's losing ticket, but says Democrats need to be meaner.
I'm getting called out on this because I called Donald Trump a wannabe dictator. It's because he is. It's because he is. The governor's being mean, and the governor's speaking out on that. Well, maybe it's time for us to be a little meaner. Maybe it's time for us to be a little more fierce.
Governor.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to earlier.
Yeah, interesting. And then here,
let's all be loving and peaceful and get along, and let's
let's hear the other side of this
Let's
coin
bring
here.
down the leader.
Look at the change in his face,
our elected president.
From this fucking indignant fucking, oh, butt hurt, oh, buh, 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 duh, duh. Now look at this, oh, tears.
Here. In a moment, you'll hear from law enforcement officials who will share with you what they can as up-to-minute update on the situation here in Minnesota. You're going to be joined by Commissioner Bob Jacobson, BCA Superintendent Drew Evans, State Patrol Colonel Christina Bogoyevich, Champlain Park Police Chief Snyder, and Brooklyn Park Police Chief Mark Bruley, as well as the Mayor of Brooklyn Park. We're here today because an unspeakable tragedy has unfolded in Minnesota. My good friend and colleague, Speaker Melissa Hortman, and her husband Mark were shot and killed early this morning in what appears to be a politically motivated assassination. Our state lost a great leader, and I lost dear friends. Speaker Hortman was someone who served the people of Minnesota with grace, compassion, humor, and a sense of service. She was a formidable public servant, a fixture and a giant in Minnesota. She woke up every day determined to make this state a better place. She is irreplaceable, and we've been missed by so many. Minnesota's thoughts and prayers are with her family, her loved ones, her children, and her parents. My prayers also go out to State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette, who were each shot multiple times. The Hoffmans are out of surgery at this time and receiving care, and we are cautiously optimistic they will survive this assassination attempt. This was an act of targeted political violence. Peaceful discourse is the foundation of our democracy. We don't settle our differences with violence or at gunpoint. In the state of Minnesota, and as recently as last week, in the most closely divided state legislature in the country, we sat down, we worked things out, we debated, we shook hands and compromised, and we served the state of Minnesota together. We proved that it's possible, even in these politically charged times, to find compromise and adhere to the principles of democracy and civil discourse. We must all, Minnesota and across the country, stand against all forms of political violence. At this precipice moment we're on, this tragic act here in Minnesota should serve as a reminder to all of us. The democracy and the debates in the halls of Congress, in state houses, in school boards, is a way to settle our differences peacefully and move society to a better place. We're collaborating with all local, state, and federal agencies on a full investigation. We're committed to keeping Minnesotans informed as the situation continues. I assure you that those responsible for this will be held accountable, and each and every one of us are committed to making sure that a tragedy like this never repeats itself in Minnesota.
All right, yeah, so how do we go full circle so fast every fucking time? Like, these people can't just calm the fuck down for 5 seconds and just take a fucking look at what they're doing. Like, I don't get it. They're just so caught up in the immediate fucking, like they get so wound up and they have to do something now, and it's got to be like, so fucking like, you're, yeah, exactly, reactionary, like super reactionary, like overreactionary.
Yeah. It's like, take a step back, think about the situation, find out what's going wrong, and then come up with some solutions to solve it so it doesn't keep happening.
Yeah, it's crazy. So that's what I don't understand. You know,
it does look like the individual we were talking about earlier, though, did breach the First Amendment.
Yeah, it sounded like the ones that they didn't read out, it was more like
actually in the ones
direct,
that they did. It's called incitement to violence. A speech that is intended to incite imminent lawless action and is likely to do so is not protected by the First Amendment. Example, urging a crowd to attack someone. And he was kind of doing that because he was doing it repeatedly.
Exactly. And that's the repeatedly
once, it would be like, but it's like five times
in a row. Over and over and over and over. And in
Yeah,
response to being in trouble, it's like it was an overreaction, and then he couldn't let it go and just kept doubling down. And guess what? Fuck around, find out, bitch. Now what's happening, you know? And it's like, I am so glad that is the new world again. It's like we're going back to the old world. Fuck around and find out, man. Like, that's how it used to be. You knew where your line was, because if you crossed it, do you really want to find out? No, you don't.
Generally, the fear of punishment was what kept people from doing stupid, bad stuff on a regular basis.
And the more public, and that's, we're going back to public. We're back in the public. Like, all of this stuff is right on social media. It's in the news now. Like, this person is doing this, and this, and we're coming after you. And like, they're not being shy about it. They're like, you are fucking around, and we're finding out.
And they keep doing it too.
So I don't know,
and they keep finding out.
I guess we'll see what happens with this, but you know, it's like, I mean, you know, if they want to keep going down that road, fine. And this is at least for the next few years. I mean, we're at the beginning, people. Like, are you kidding me? We're not like he's on the way out the door. It's only gonna ratchet up if you keep poking the damn bear. He's gonna say, "Fuck you! I got 3 more years. I got plenty of runway." Holy crap! I mean, to an extent, I'm happy they're doing it because they're just killing themselves. But let's see.
It's very self-destructive.
It is unreal. All right, who do we got? Ranch it up. Ted Cruz.
From a political perspective. Not that I know much about politics.
All right, let's see.
Governor Gavin Newsom, he's got a chance at being president, has to be playing the longest practical joke.
Oh my God.
Gavin Newsom.
Oh my God. Is AOC and this guy? It's like, fine.
Yeah, they're
great.
The best bet.
Let's do it. There's zero chance.
And I think Gretchen Whitmer is probably a likely.
Great. She's a. Who can look at her and not be like, wow, this lady is a giant bitch. And she was trying to hide. She was in the White House and she was hiding behind like a folder full of files or something, trying not to be caught on picture or something at the White House. Like, are you that fucking like just full of yourself? Like, God damn it, man. Like, you're in the government, the White House. Guess what? It happens to be. Oh my God. It just doesn't even make sense, but yeah, I don't know. And he's trying to be like the cool guy and like be like a little bit arm's length from the Dems, but it's really, I don't know.
Ever, as the anti-ICE riots were ravaging Los Angeles, digging his most populated city even deeper into debt.
I didn't know that.
State's $100 billion surplus into a $73 billion deficit. Is he focused on actually fixing the situation for citizens? No, he's busy suing Fox News.
These guys go after me 24/7. I'm a piñata. It's a defamation lawsuit because they willfully and knowingly distorted facts.
They don't even have to. Just like us, we just gotta say exactly what actually is happening, and it's so absurd.
Nothing. They do it to the cells.
We don't even have to like exaggerate.
It's the same thing they said about Donald Trump back in 2020, or like
I mean, he's still
whenever his first term was. I'm sorry.
And you're talking to this guy? You're talking to this idiot being like, like, are you kidding me? This guy is the worst.
They lied about a phone call that never occurred between the President of the United States and myself. We just filed a lawsuit against Fox News for lies, for deceit.
As this literally looks like all he's doing now. Or you look at his personal social media account. All he does is constantly repost and highlight his lawsuit, which isn't much better than the official governor's account that is pretty much exclusively crying about President Donald Trump. There's some very serious issues in California, but the only thing their leader is concerned with is vanity, as he's suing Fox News for $787 million, citing Politico's article saying it's a defamation case regarding a Trump phone.
That's a lot of money.
Importantly, stating that he will drop the lawsuit if Fox News retracts its claims and they apologize to Newsom on air, which only proves that this is strictly about vanity. He could be focused on
$787 million.
Or basically anything other than trying to praise.
And what exactly is he trying to say was the
That
thing?
is
Like,
a
what did they
lot
say?
of money.
What was the thing that they said that was just like,
Yeah, what was so damaging?
yeah, tell me what's going on here. I don't get it.
Fox, which isn't even 0.1% of his $1 billion shortfall. And I understand those calculations probably aren't correct, but I graduated from California public school, so if anything, me not being math Asian is his fault, alongside me bad grammar. But why exactly is Newsom suing Fox News over Jesse Waters?
When's the last time you spoke with Governor Newsom?
A day ago. Called him up to tell him, gotta do a better job, he's doing a bad job.
Where Newsom replied, there was no call, not even a voicemail, only for Trump to post his phone records of a 16-minute call he had with Newsom. Now that image doesn't really prove anything, but Newsom being so adamant that he's not lying about a phone call just reminds the public of a time that he definitely lied about a Trump phone call.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I remember that.
There's literally, I've tried 5 times, that's why I'm walking around to make.
Why is the president taking your call?
Yep. So he's literally on the phone with the president, and it in 5 seconds went to, oh, I've been trying to make the call because I have no service.
Right.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, he's got all the excuses in the world. He's like that little kid in your class that just always has excuses.
It's crazy. Like literally within, and he was like and he was like holding the phone like facing him very specifically, so she could see it.
Like, I'm looking at it right now.
Right now, I know this guy's insane. They're trying to sue him for deploying the National Guard. They're trying to sue the fucking Fox News for defamation. Like, how about you not let your city or your state burn down? Like, I don't like it. Over and over again, and
I don't.
Self-inflicted wounds. Like,
plus it's I think the richest state of all of our states, as far as like GDP is concerned. So it is kind of a national, of national interest to not have the largest cities and the most, economically powerful state in the union going all nutty.
Yeah,
burning down.
Well, exactly. Like of all the places, geez,
this is kind of important.
Now this
to everybody.
This is crazy to me.
I'm just saying.
So this guy, what's this guy's name? I don't know, but he is one of the most like outspoken, like vile, nasty people, always about anything Trump does. He is just all over it, like, bleh, like it's just everything is so crazy. And then apparently the marching orders changed, and now we're supporting Trump for now because I guess he's had too many like short-term victories, and all the shitting on him is not working. Like they just keep looking more and more retarded because every time they push back on him, it ends up working out. And
well, it's they're complaining about things that prior Democratic presidents were praised for trying to do. It's like,
I know tariffs used to be so important, and now they hate them.
Bernie Sanders was all about tariffs when he was trying to run back. It was like his point. He had 2 points. He was going to erase student debt, and he was going to pay for everything with tariffs. And he was praised for it, except Hillary and all that fun stuff. And then Obama won. Mm-hmm. But like, I don't. Stuff is it's just crazy. Now they're complaining about it.
Well, not even just complaining, but being like
he's gonna destroy America with his tariffs.
Yeah, like this is gonna destroy everything,
it's the worst
and they're like
thing since the Civil War. It's
and they can't even focus on doing something like to move the country forward. All they can care about is to stop anything Trump is trying to do. Like, I gotta pull up this one. Oh man. This lady, she was on an interview with I don't know, CNN or whoever, and they're like, so what is your like what are you trying to do? Like what is your agenda you're trying to put forward? And she's like, I don't even have time for that. I just have to stop anything Trump's trying to my whole full time, all I'm trying to do is stop anything Trump wants.
They don't even know why. And they don't ever have another solution.
Yeah, you can't even do something. All you can do is get in a way. That's your whole point of existence. It doesn't make sense. But this, to me, what happens in this clip is like fundamentally, I feel like what do you call it? The deep state or something is the marching orders are changing, or like something big is happening.
Stealth and with precision. There were no American casualties, and while Congress is divided after receiving briefings on the extent of the damage, I'm sure that we've derailed Iran's nuclear program, at least temporarily.
Of course.
And there's some valuable deterrent effect for America's adversaries who witnessed last week's exercise.
Yep.
Then, last Tuesday, President...
So, when he said that, I thought he was about to say some snarky, just like those fucking idiots last week, like... Everything they said that made sense was like a sarcasm, like, oh, yeah, of course that's not true. It's like, wait,
I remember.
The one thing you said that made sense is of course it's not true. Like, I thought he was about to do that here. And he didn't. And like, all week prior to this, they were like, we don't even think it even scratched any, we dropped $50 billion of bombs and it didn't even dust the earth a little bit. It was like they were all duds. Like, They just were going on and on about how useless everything we did was, that we were starting a war, even though, are we in a war right now? Because as last time I checked, we are not currently even doing anything,
nope.
Let alone in a war. Like, Jesus Christ, man. And they're just go on, and now all of a sudden, oh, looks like we did a perfect job, and everything is fucking perfect. Like, how did we just do a 3-6? Like, that's why I think something very, like, underground, or, like, I don't know, some sort of, like, like I said, the deep state is like, shit. We tried to shit on literally everything he did, and nothing worked.
We're banking on something going wrong.
Exactly. They were like, one of these things gotta fuck up, and we'll be there being like, see, we said. So now they're like, all right, we gotta back off for a second and, like, regroup. So just support him for now.
Also, whatever they were doing wasn't working either. I mean, he's closed our borders. I mean, as far as illegals coming through, it's like 0 a day, as opposed to
exactly. It went from like
7,000 a day.
10,000 a minute to 0.
7,000's a good day, right? Or a bad day. I don't know what you want to say, but I mean, that's been more or less fixed as far as we know.
Well, yeah, exactly. As far as we know, but I mean, as far as it seems too, I mean, I'm pretty sure they would be saying something otherwise. The Democrats would be like, no, there's still 50 million pouring in. You didn't do shit.
But if we have any viewers in Texas near the border, go look outside and tell us if you see any illegal immigrants crossing. And if
yeah, because before it used to be like a caravan. You couldn't miss it. So now, I mean, you know, it should be like...
It was pretty obvious. Yeah. It's like, where are all those people going? What's going on? There must be some cool event happening. Oh, wait, no. That's not what they're doing. I don't even
know. But yeah, so now all of a sudden,
I've seen
like,
pictures.
This guy of all people is like, oh yeah, we had a perfect operation and not a thing went wrong. And let's see what else good is happening.
President Trump left the White House en route to Europe. At the time, there was a question as to whether Israel and Iran would honor a ceasefire. That caused the president to offer the most unfiltered, non-controversial, direct words that I can recall anybody ever saying about the Middle East.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
And then he just walked off.
To The Hague, where he arrived for NATO meetings and was able to rank.
And again, I thought he was going to do the same kind of nonsense where he'd say something like sensible and be like, oh,
or something.
Yeah, it'd be like snark it up. And like, he didn't. Yeah. He didn't. I can't.
It's weird. CNN actually reporting the news and not commenting on everything is weird.
Well, and not even that, but actually, like, not even just objective. They're like, oh, look how good it is. Like, this is so good. Like, they're actually in. They're not even from the wrong to the middle. They went from all the way over there to all the way over there. They flipped the holes. You can't go any more extreme.
And they're hoping nobody noticed or was paying enough attention.
And that's what I'm wondering. Where are the people that watch this guy normally and being like, wait a minute, he's broken? How are they not how are they not crucifying this guy right now? That's what I'm saying, Bobby. How is he still... Hold on. What is this guy's name?
Yeah, I've been saying that about The View for a very long time, and they're still on.
Damn it. Well, yeah,
Bobby,
but they don't flip flop really. But they're pretty the same though.
Yeah, at least they're consistently.
A Mideast ceasefire. And
I don't watch them.
Rogue justices
I just see things on the YouTube.
President Trump's biggest critics over at CNN, they can't deny that Don is on a roll.
I'm talking about offering an objective analysis in view of what's transpired in the last 2 weeks that I've laid out substantively and with data. He's been on a roll. Who among us could deny how consequential Trump 2.0 is turning out to be? But in order for you to recognize that, you need to have an open mind about what's transpiring.
Oh, come on, what good?
What?
2.0. I like that.
What? When I saw him like lay it out, like who could like he is trying to get the weirdos that normally he's like garbage feeding just hate to, and he's trying to like bring them back a little bit. And he's like, "Oh, I know what I'm saying is like completely completely different than what you're expecting." And now he's like, oh, well, you just have to be a little open-minded, and like she's trying to use the trust, the hate trust that he's built up over the years, you know?
The hate trust.
Yeah, like he's built up trust through all the hate.
People look to him to have that outlook. I gotcha.
To generate the hate that they need in their life. And when he said, no, don't be hateful right now. He's saying to them, don't be haters right now. He said, back up a little bit, be open-minded just for a second. We can hate later. Okay, we'll come back.
Something new will come up we can hate on.
Just for a minute. Let's just back it up.
Let's back it up. Let's back it up now.
I could not eat. And I mean, that was a 30-second clip. And I'm like, I literally.
That's the problem. He keeps winning.
That's what I'm saying.
I
had to take a second.
He's only had one instance so far where he says, I'm going to do this thing, and it hasn't yet gotten done, but he's still working on it. And that's Ukraine. And that's not really his fault. That's because Putin doesn't want to do anything.
And I mean, people complain like, oh, don't start wars and shit. And we went in and like bombed Iran, and it's like, he's not starting wars. Okay, he gave them a chance to deploy diplomatically, and then he did a single attack that did not get us into a war, and now here we are, and we're, whatever. But he did everything he could to avoid it. Like, at some point, it's out of your control. Like, as long as you did everything that you could, like, you did what you said you were going to do. Like, and then you still made the best of that outcome. And it's the same with Ukraine. Okay, he did everything that he could. The things that are out of his control are out of his control. And we're doing the best we can with the outcome. And it's not like he's like, oh, you know what? I just actually don't actually care about this at all. And you know what? We're going to actually just give Ukraine an extra $1 trillion because they need it. And then you know what? We're also going to give Russia like $1 billion because why not? Like, that would be some crazy shit. And you could complain about it, but
right.
None of this is at all outside of the scope. They just have to complain.
Especially when we've already secured a deal with Ukraine for their for getting access to those minerals that we need so badly for their future.
I know the AI needs to eat.
Yeah, AI needs their precious rare earth minerals, man, until it can get out into space and start mining them up out there, and then it doesn't have any need.
So, but seriously, when I saw this clip, like the other one was kind of crazy, but when I saw this one and he like flat out was like, look, I've just laid out exactly why Trump is a genius. Literally, I had kind of shot out of my chair a little bit. I looked around, I'm like, wait a minute. What is happening? Because like I rely on the news to be a certain level of reliable, you know what I mean? Like you kind of know what you're getting yourself into, and then that happened, I'm like, something.
Yeah, a little bit of consistency is still to be expected these days, even if it's a consistent opinion or it's a consistent lack of.
Well, I mean, the media is an outlet for these certain people to get their agenda across, and it's like, how did you switch so drastically? Like someone very, 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 very high up had to have been like
someone with lots of money and influence said,
yes. They said we are stopping this and we're doing this now. Yep. And it was like overnight. It wasn't even like, hey, let's warm up to it. There was no foreplay, nothing. It was like, all right, we're going all the way, and you're gonna. Oh my God, I don't know. Holy crap, it was just unreal. Anyway, I don't know if anyone else feels that was like as earth shattering as I. Like I literally am like, holy crap, like something fundamental has changed in the power structure of the United States.
Well, at least it's CNN.
I love this guy. Senator Kennedy from Louisiana is just like, I find, I don't know, he looks kind of like a certain way, and when he talks, it's like old-timey and charming. I don't know.
Oldie-timey.
So the yeas are 47, the nays are 53. The motion is not agreed to.
Report motions.
Does the senator want to call up his amendment?
Mr. President, I call up my amendment 2772 and ask that it be reported by number.
The clerk.
Like, I love those glasses he wears.
The senator from Louisiana, Mr. Kennedy, proposes an amendment number 2772.
He is oldie timey.
2360.
In a way.
We just spent 13 hours on motions to commit. I'm not blaming my Democrat party because we had to agree to it. But anybody with a brain above a single-cell organism knows that a motion to commit has no chance of passing. We've been standing around for 13 hours. We might as well just been standing around sucking on our teeth. Now, I'd like to ask for order in this chamber. At least we can have that.
He has the funniest little sayings. I don't know where he comes up with these things, but he has all these little sayings. He'll just pop out. It's just like, holy crap! I would love to just like hang out with this guy and drink whiskey and just like have him just babble on, and I would just be like laughing uncontrollably.
Mr. President, in this bill, $1 billion is set aside to be spent by September 30th, 2027 to carry out the Defense Production Act. That's it. That's all there is. Now, I'm not a big fan of government-directed industrialization. Government-directed industrialization is when government, with its superior instincts and infallible judgment, decides to pick winners and losers in the private sector. This business gets some money, but you, Ms. Businesswoman, you can't have the money. I'm against that for two reasons. Number one, it's immoral. It's unfair to people who don't get the money, the gift from government. And number two, when government does it, when it picks winners and losers. Now, I was against it in the prior administration. And just recently in my committee, we had a hearing where the prior administration handed out $90 billion in the last 76 days of its administration in gifts and loans to entities in the private sector. And that raised fresh hell. And now we're about to do it again. $1 billion. Now, and that's all it says.
$90 billion they did in like the last however many days he was mentioning there. They like rushed to get the money out the door as fast as they could.
Yeah, they did.
And now,
it's like a snatch and grab.
It's like this $1 billion of whatever, but it's like, it's more or less like a petty cash fund is what they're trying to like, okay, we can just kind of spend it on what we need to without having to go through all this bullshit of like, getting every single thing approved every time or whatever.
There's $1 billion to be spent, period. Now, I have been told that the Secretary of Energy and the Secretary of the Interior are going to decide in their unfettered discretion who's going to get this money in the private sector. And they are both two good men. I know that both of those secretaries, I voted for them. They are total ballers. I love them to death. But when I'm in Washington, I live by this adage: trust in God, but tie up your camel. Trust in God, but tie up your camel.
Trust in God, but tie up your camel? Again, where the fuck is this guy from? What camel do you have? Why are we talking about camels? Oh my God.
What does that mean? The first part I understand. I think he's trying to say that you shouldn't put your trust in people. Because people are like camels, so you should tie them up.
Well, I think I don't know. I don't know if it's like your camel will wander away. Like, don't trust him to just stand there while you're like getting a beer. Yeah. Like, I don't know. And this is the adage that he lives by. Who told you that? At what point in your life were you like, damn it, camel? If only I had tied you up. Like, what? What?
It's advice that can save your life someday.
I can't take it.
Hey, they can give these gifts and grants to whomever they want, but Congress. Now, I don't know, an hour ago, I got a call from one of my supporters, Mr. President. And you know what he said to me? He said, Kennedy, for your own good, you need to pull down this amendment. You have to pull down this amendment. Kennedy, for your own good, you have to pull down this amendment. And you know what I told him, Mr. President? I said, Scooter, there are only two things I have to do in this world. Be cool and die. And I'm not pulling down this amendment. It was
two things I gotta do. Be cool and die. This guy is a boss. I don't know if he comes up with this like off his cuff or if he has like a Rolodex filled with just little quippy things that he can just like, this is good for literally any scenario because it doesn't really mean anything, but it sounds cool.
And he's like,
it could be any. I don't know.
Buzz, Scooter.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So anyway, sometimes
This is
I'll
the
watch.
kind of dude who grew up in a world where they like literally built their own homes.
Yeah, I could see him being like a steamboat captain or like, you know, like a plantation, like wearing like a pocket watch kind of.
Really rich and grew up in a, you know, mansion and shit too. But
yeah,
I'm just saying, the way he talks is like, oh, we got some extra visitors today. Okay, I'm gonna go out back and I'm gonna like hunt a bear. Hunt a bear. Just to get some extra meat to feed our visitors.
Are you saying Kamala Harris contributes to Warner Brothers?
What?
Or other way around? How much money does Kamala Harris have, and where does she get her money?
CNN own Warner Brothers or vice versa? I didn't know that. I think that's what he's saying. I don't know what he means by Kamala Harris though. Explain, Bobby. Explain.
So anyway, sometimes I'll watch these like House like in Senate things and they'll do these votes and it'll be all this crazy shit. And I was watching this one and I swear to God, sometimes I do not even understand what is happening. Like this first off is 12 hours long and I popped in and out and was watching different parts of it. And then this happened and I couldn't stop laughing, and I'm also wondering, kind of to an extent, what are they trying to do by this, except by make it take literal... Are they hoping someone dies? Like, we made it take so long, this lady turned into ashes, and now we have to vote for a new... and maybe it'll be a Democrat.
Oh no, did she turn into ashes?
That's what I don't know. They just take so long. I don't understand what's happening. So if I back this up a little bit...
I think they do that on purpose.
All right, to here.
In a work development program. Let's be perfectly clear. These work requirements apply only to able-bodied adults without young dependents who don't have a...
Oh, and this shit makes me crazy too. They're all about the like, Medicaid bullshit, this, that, and the other thing, and whatever. And you know, able-bodied people, you can't ask people to work. Are you crazy? Oh, by the way, anyone could give a like on this. I would love you so much. I normally don't ask, but a lot of people downvoted our last one, so I would love to give them all a big ass middle finger and say we love this shit. And y'all a bunch of... I'm gonna leave it there, but
cool.
So with this lady, she's saying, oh, you know, if you got kids or you actually aren't able-bodied or you have any of these kind of exclusions, like, you're still fine. It's just the people that are actually capable of working.
Need it? No
and
problem.
It's not even that you gotta work.
Prove it again.
You could be going to school. You could be volunteering for you could do like charity work if you wanted. Like you could literally do anything that you want. And it's still not good enough. It's not like, oh, hey, you got to go work at a coal mine. No. It's literally you could go work at the Salvation Army and just like put some clothes out or like check some people out or put tags up or like anything.
Easy things, and you might meet cool people and make some friends.
Yeah.
Process.
And then maybe you wouldn't be sick all the time. I don't know.
At an animal shelter and like help.
Yeah, exactly.
Animals,
Yeah,
who doesn't
at a
love
shelter,
animals?
anything.
All right, you might be afraid of dogs. That's okay. They have cats.
These requirements include pregnant women, individuals under the age of 19 or over the age of 64, foster youth and former foster youth under the age of 26, members of tribes, individuals who are considered medically
You hear all that?
and individuals who are
Exclusions?
in compliance with the work requirements under
Sabrina.
Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, TANF, or Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. The list goes on, but our priority remains the same: to root out waste, fraud, and abuse, and to strengthen and sustain Medicaid for those for whom the program was intended to serve: the expectant mothers, children with disabilities, the poor, and the elderly. I reserve, Mr. Speaker.
Generally, North Carolina reserves her time.
Mr. Speaker,
Gentleman from Massachusetts.
Mr. Speaker, Democratic Leader Jeffries has an amendment to strike the devastating cuts to health care and SNAP. And I yield to the gentlewoman.
So that lady just went and explained, like, if you're over 65, if you're under 19, if you're part of a tribe, if you're a pregnant woman, if you're in foster care, if blah, blah, like all these exclusions, it don't apply to you, you're fine. It's only people that could actually do something, and you get to choose what you're doing, including going to school or job training. So
Right.
you could be getting
you just
trained.
have to do something, which is actually very good, because if you just sit around not doing anything, then you get angry and you just yell at everyone and you watch way too much TV or YouTube or TikTok. They're all bad for you.
What?
And you're
Won the
probably not eating
lottery?
well,
Heck
and you're
yeah,
definitely not getting
400
proper
and 500.
exercise.
Very, very cool. Happy
lottery day.
Yeah. Holy
I wish
moly,
I
good job.
could win,
What kind of, were you
I have to
playing
actually
numbers
play
or
the lottery to win,
scratchers? All right, but anyway, so that lady was just kind of going on about that. Now this guy over here, of course, the
I
Democrats
think we all
are
need
like,
to play the lottery, Bobby.
this guy's going on and on about, oh, we can't make any changes to SNAP and Medicaid, and this lady is about to go on and say, oh, we're robbing food out of kids' mouths all across the country, and this, that, and the
All
other
these
thing.
old people, all these little
Which
kids.
I
and all
don't even
these-
understand
these
any
Native
of that.
Americans,
None
they're
of
all
that
gonna
is
die in
going to
the
happen.
streets. But she just said nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's crazy. I know. It's
They're
like they
it's
literally
not-
just said it's not going to
like they're
happen.
abolishing the programs. They're just it's a more of a reform approach, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So yeah, some people might
New York, the chair of the Congressional Black
have a
Caucus, Ms.
hiccup
Clark,
in their
purpose of-
coverage, but I'm sure it'll get fixed.
Even that, I don't think it would even really be like that. I think it's just going to be a lot
No,
of,
I don't
like-
even think that'll happen, except for maybe like they send you paperwork and you just
Exactly,
ignore
and
it,
if you're
then-
so stupid
and
you
that's
can't
your
do
fault.
paperwork for
Right.
like 6 months or something, then you know what? At some point you gotta take some level of responsibility.
Unanimous consent request.
Gentleman from New York is recognized for 1 minute.
I ask unanimous consent to amend the rule to make in order the amendment at the desk that protects against any cuts to Medicaid and to SNAP.
Mr. Speaker.
You see what he just did?
Gentlewoman
He
from
pushed
North
her
Carolina.
out and grabbed him and pulled him in.
All time yielded is for the purpose of debate, and I do not yield for that request.
The lady from North Carolina does not yield. Therefore, the unanimous consent request cannot.
Yeah, I did see that.
Mr. Speaker,
Gentleman from Massachusetts.
I yield to the gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Carter, for the purpose of a unanimous consent request.
Gentleman from Louisiana is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to amend the rule to make in order the amendment at the desk that protects against any Medicaid cuts and any cuts to SNAP.
You see he pushing him?
SNAP is what, like food stamps?
All-time yield.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Debate.
I thought
Well,
so,
let's
but
make sure actually.
I don't know what it stands for. That's why.
Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Yeah,
Okay,
SNAP.
yeah.
It's like the food card, I guess.
Chair understands that the gentlelady from North Carolina is not yielding
Food
for that
stamps is a really old term.
purpose. Therefore,
So-
the unanimous consent request cannot be entertained.
Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman from Massachusetts.
We have this whole big ass line, right? And each person is going to read the exact same thing that says we want to have a vote that says we're not going to change anything about Medicaid or SNAP. And then that old lady says, I'm not yielding my time to have this vote, but if you want to debate, we can debate. And then it goes to the next person. They read the exact same thing. She says, no, we're not doing that. Next, we read the same thing. No, we're not doing that. You see how long this going on for? Like, just like
It's
hours and
exhausting, I'm
hours
sure.
and hours. Like, who the...
That's why these guys are always like taking breaks and vacations. I mean, this is what they have to do for their job. It's like kind of weird.
And some of these people, like this guy, when he gets up to the thing, and you know what, whatever. I don't really want to necessarily single people out, but he looks like he doesn't even have a brain. He's like a zombie. They literally found a zombie to read a piece of paper.
Who is that?
And they probably pay him a whole bunch of money to just show up and read pieces of paper when they need him to. It is so effing
He looks like
crazy.
he's about to fall asleep, but that's just because this process is like.
His
so
eyes are going out.
I
They're
understand
facing
it's part of the
outward.
process is to make sure everyone gets heard, but they're all saying the same thing, and
The
can't they
exact
just
same
say,
thing.
I second that dude, and I third that dude, and let's move on, and then we can take lunch. I mean, yeah. You know what the outcome's going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
I go through it all.
It's just straight up nutty, and it just went on, and I was like, holy moly, is this really happening? And then at some point, this guy's like, hey, do you want to rethink about this vote? And he's like, no, we're good. Yeah, I know, that's crazy. I feel like some people that actually deserve stuff have to jump through all the hoops, and then the people that
was struggling,
scam get right
and
in.
I tried to get, I guess it was the Michigan version, but I was denied because I made just too much money on paper, which surprised me because I was like, I'm like hardly able to feed myself. What do you mean I make too much money?
Yeah. I don't know. I hear that about a lot of things. And it's like, I don't know. I guess if you know how to do the cheating, you know how to do it, and the people that need it. But I mean, that's part of why hopefully it's going to be better now. It's like, all right, we're going to cut the people that don't really make sense and then make it easier to just, if it, makes sense, we're just going to do it because we have a lot more headroom now. So anyway, I just thought that was funny. They do all this kind of crap, and then it was like the same thing over and over again. And this guy with his little like tie up your camel, like what?
Is that dude on the right? Is that Mark Zuckerberg on the right? Why does it look like Mark Zuckerberg? But he doesn't wear a tie and a suit, so it can't be him. I don't know who that is.
So this is a follow-up for last week we looked at Alligator Alcatraz. So apparently it's up and pretty much ready to go. They're touring it this week. I didn't realize they were that close. I thought they were going to the end of the month, but let's check it out.
Alcatraz, and we're finally getting our first look inside the new facility. This is a facility they're making as a migrant detainment facility. I don't really know what to say about it, but that's where we're at. Here we go. We're here. That's right.
Migrant detention facility. Chain
cozy.
It would suck. Like you can't jerk off anywhere.
No,
like that would suck.
Not much privacy though.
Like, everybody has to watch you. Like fuck. Yeah. I guess you can.
That's like, that's prison life. Nice so, they say face the wall.
That's what you get.
I think.
Promise there's no wall.
Not that I know firsthand. I've heard things.
But there's no wall. It's all just a chain link fence.
There is no wall.
How to avoid the gators? Wait, what? How to avoid gators? Okay, give me a minute.
It's out there facing the wilderness.
Where's the images here? Is this going to be a horror movie when the gators get in? Yeah, I don't know how they're getting the gators.
Yeah, and who keeps the gators out? Are they actually concerned about that? So, yeah,
I think there are fences to keep the gators out.
Like none of this was here before. I like when we looked at it before, it was just this runway.
Yeah, it was pretty open and empty. They put this up really fast.
So, anyway, that's the
certainly
update.
Possible. It's just
Alligator Alcatraz.
Man, that was quick. Or they were starting before they let people know about it. That is also possible.
I mean, we saw it just the other day. It wasn't like that.
Well, it could have been, footage from how it looked 5 years ago, or last year or something. That's what I mean. We don't know how old the footage was.
Well, I think they were doing a tour then too, but
were they? I guess I don't remember. It's a whole week has gone by.
This one was kind of hilarious.
I'm passionate about whatever I'm told to be passionate about today. Today.
Now, Scott Bessent is the U.S. Treasury Secretary, and he was on this interview with CNBC, and at some point, it just kind of, in my opinion, went a little bit off the rails, and CNBC started stroking themselves a little bit, and it was kind of hilarious.
The so-called big, beautiful bill facing a final House approval vote in the coming hours. Joining us now is Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Mr. Secretary, thank you so much for joining us. We're going on more than 6 hours now where Minority Leader Jeffries is speaking. What are you hearing? What's your expectation for when and whether this could pass?
Well, it's going to pass, and my expectation is that we'll get a vote around 1:30 today.
So apparently this guy was talking for like 6 hours, trying to just delay things. I don't know. What's the expected outcome? I'm not really sure, but
I don't know if this was a case for a filibuster, but that could be what that was. I think a filibuster is when you just keep talking to keep anyone else from talking.
But yeah, but like for this is like, I think normally you do that when you need like we need it to not pass today or something. Like we need another.
Trying
like,
to stall for time for some reason. Is my understanding why you would do that.
So I don't know like what time they're trying to stall for, but
I don't.
And the deadline's artificial anyway.
Passed.
You know what I mean? It's like,
and they were trying to pass it by yesterday, so I'm guessing. I don't know what the outcome would be if they succeeded. I just don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Passed today.
Just seems like a lot of effort.
Monday said that this isn't a drag on the deficit, despite the fact that CBO has sported pretty aggressively that it will add $1 trillion to our public debt. You've told me before, and you've told everyone that you're a fiscal hawk. So how do you square that? That's a key question I think that they're asking on Wall Street.
Yeah, well, I square it with I don't believe in the CBO forecast. So let's just look at common sense and logic that if the bill, for some reason, hadn't passed, we would have the biggest tax hike in history, and the CBO would say we're going to grow at 1.8%. We're going to...
The speed and efficiency of the fiber...
So CBO's really government agency that's like...
It's helped take us from telling...
make expensing and the...
Well, let's look up their name, actually. Congressional Budget Office, and they, like, analyze spending and impact of the spending, and they put out a statement that said, the bill is going to increase the deficit by this much and whatever, and what he's trying to say is, in fact, they're not accurate because they're not accounting, like they're trying to play it both ways. They're trying to say that the tariffs are going to be bad and that they're not going to generate income. It's like, well, either they're bad and they're going to be offset by the income they generate, or they're not going to be bad and there's not going to be income that's going to be offset because the outcome that we want is going to happen. So they're trying to have both of the bads in, and then try and say that, because of that, we have this bad thing. And he's saying no. And even if he's going to say, like, even if we use their own scoring, in fact, it's not even as bad as what they're reporting.
For structures and equipment, permanent, and we are going to have the biggest tax cut in history, and the CBO is still saying we'll only grow at 1.8%. So if you turn up the growth projections to something like 2.83%, which was achieved during President Trump's first term, then the debt disappears. The other thing, too, is are we growing the GDP faster than we're growing the debt, which I am sure will happen over the remainder of the president's term.
We've been talking to economists about the GDP, because I know that's what you're saying, is that they're underplaying how much this could add to economic growth, and therefore that'll help with the debt picture. We've been asking economists about it. Hard to see a 3% number on most Wall Street forecasts right now. How do you get there? Because I get deregulation is going to help, and I get there's some stimulus here, and the clarity will be helpful, but then there's also tariffs, which could hurt.
So this is where it's about to get funny, and they're about to get into why I wanted to get into this clip, but effectively, they're trying to say, like Bessett's saying, we're going to have 3% growth, and that's going to offset our debt, right? Because we're going to have a bigger economy and more money than we would have otherwise, and that can pay some of the increased debt and this and whatever. And she's trying to say, well, how do we get there, considering no one really... No one believes that we're going to get there, so how do you think we're going to get there?
No one actually believes this.
No one thinks we're going to get there, so why do you think we're going to get there?
Then let's think about this. You can't have it both ways. If tariffs going to hurt the economy, then we're going to pick up, according to CBO, if you want to take CBO scoring over the 10-year window, we pick up $2.8 trillion in revenue. And what we've seen so far is that tariffs haven't hurt. The dog that didn't bark was the tariffs going to hurt the economy, we're going to hurt the market. Market had the fastest recovery ever, from the low in April, from a 15% decline, and we're at new highs in the market. So I've made my career on listening to the market, not Wall Street economists, so I'm going to stick with what the market's telling me.
Mr. Secretary, it's great to be with you today. And as you're saying, the market's at all-time highs, and perhaps even more insightfully, the bond market's very, very calm as we sit here now. Does that not even indicate to you that you could push the deficit more if you wanted to? I mean, America's probably the only country in the world that could be talking about a 5 or 6 or 7%, even if it's only in the short-term deficit, and see bond markets as calm as they are.
Well, unlike the previous administration, we don't see the need to do that because we think that we can get private sector growth going. And President Trump's agenda, as I said many times, is a three-legged stool. So it's trade, it's tax. So we're going to complete the tax today when the House votes, and then the president will sign it tomorrow. And I think the permanence and the stimulus from that, and then an important part is deregulation. That is slower moving, and I think those are going to kick in the third and fourth quarter. So we want to bring down the deficit to GDP. We don't need these huge amounts of government spending to keep the economy going. We want the private sector to do it like it did in President Trump's first term.
So is Elon Musk completely wrong? Have you called him to tell him that he's campaigning on the wrong issue on this bill?
As I've said in the past, I have great respect for Elon on rockets. I will leave that to him. He can leave the finances to me.
Okay. Well, so you mentioned the other leg of the stool, which is trade, very much in
So Elon Musk apparently is criticizing the bill as well, saying, you know, it's going to add $5 trillion of debt. And he's been really vocal about it. And
yeah, I heard about that.
He's also saying that he's going to start a new political party if this happens, if this bill passes. So I guess we'll see where that all shakes out. But as much as I love Elon Musk, I would not like him as president because he is way too erratic. And
he's super erratic.
Way.
He is what he does best. He should stick to, which is being an eccentric billionaire who wants.
Yeah,
to
if you want to shake up a company, that's one thing. But shaking up a country and the world is, you know, not so good.
No.
So they go back and forth. Bessent and Musk constantly are like going at each other. He's saying, you stick to rockets, I'll stick to finance, and we'll be fine.
Right.
Focus now on the framework that President Trump announced on Vietnam yesterday. I'm curious if you could tell us a little bit more about that. Has Vietnam agreed to it? And those 20% tariffs, where they send it over to us, is that on top of the 10% tariffs that we already have?
No, it's not stacked on top of the 10%. That's the reciprocal rate.
Right. So this would just be 20% tariffs that goods coming from Vietnam into the U.S. as part of this deal.
Yes.
And is the deal finalized?
So this is kind of interesting. Anything coming from Vietnam is going to have a 20% tariff on it. And we are going to have a completely open market into Vietnam. So we can sell whatever we want in there without any.
Really? Why? Why would they have...
I have no idea. But I'm assuming the alternative was worse.
To be, like, even, I thought they were supposed to be even. Like, I thought the idea was that, you know, by imposing, you know, equal tariffs, then they'll say, okay, maybe our tariffs on the United States goods are too high, and we'll drop them in exchange for.
I know. I thought that was weird, and for it to be at 20% was kind of crazy. But I think, maybe there's a little bit of argument that's going to come up is that during COVID, I guess they inflated prices a lot. They're kind of saying like,
so there was a stick involved that we didn't hear about. That's what you're saying. Okay, I get you.
Yeah. So
I
think we're trying to say you guys need to either put down your margins again, or we're going to just take it as a tax. So either way, you're not getting it.
I haven't spoke to Jamison Greer, who's heading the team. My understanding is that it's finalized in principle.
I guess the question is so far we've had some responses from retail, from the Footwear Association. I mean, they manufacture a lot in Vietnam, in part because the last Trump administration got them to ship out of China into Vietnam. That's going to be a higher cost of doing business for them to bring that product into the U.S.
Well, look, we've seen that a huge amount.
Now, the other thing that they did was put a 40% tariff on transshipping. So if they import something and then export it to us, it's a 40% because a lot of, I guess, times China will do that to get their product through. Without it being like subject to whatever, or other countries that move their stuff through Vietnam.
I gotcha.
So now they're just like, if it's not coming directly from you, we're going to throw 40% because you're probably fucking around with us.
Right.
The trade that comes from,
because we know you're messing around, and this is what happens.
So we'll see what happens with the transshipment, and the businesses have already adjusted to a 10% tariff. So we'll see what happens with the additional 10. Thus far, we haven't seen any inflation from tariffs. And again, I would say that tariffs are not inflationary. You could get a one-time price bump, but in terms of a generalized economic inflation, I don't think that tariffs cause.
So this is the thing that I really get kind of stuck on, and it really kind of makes me angry. We had like huge inflation, and then
we did,
and then they brought it down to normal. But the problem is all of that inflation happened. It's not like it went away. It happened.
It just stopped from rising, but it's not like McDonald's hamburger and fries and a Coke doesn't still
and
cost
wages
$50.
did not raise like that.
No. Some people's got a little bit, I'm sure, as a result, but it wasn't equal to the inflation. Like, inflation was 20+%.
Yeah.
And, most people probably got a 5 to 10% increase in pay.
I mean, if they're lucky.
At best. 5%, right, if they're lucky. Normal. And they work at a company that just does that on the reg.
I mean, we gave our employees all 10%, but it's hard. I mean, that was like all of our spare cash flow was into races.
Yeah, and I get that too. It's just, you can only expect so much. I mean, it's not like, you know, businesses could across the board raise their prices to match inflation. That's really something only you know, retail can easily do.
Well, even that easily, quote unquote. You know how many people went out of business?
Easily,
like a lot of companies went out of business, and this is something they don't talk about.
With
And
inflation, you can't spend as much. That means you're not buying as much. Therefore, they try to raise prices more, and you buy less.
Well,
and then you go out of business, or
the problem
you find
is
alternatives or whatever.
Deflation. So if prices were to actually go down, deflation.
Has that ever happened?
It can destroy a country, and that's why they don't.
Yeah,
like
wasn't that what led to the Great Depression?
Well,
no, that was different. No, that was something else.
That's different. But like, I'm pretty sure like Venezuela and like some of these countries, like they had rapid. It pretty much just causes a lot of problems. So the government does not want that to happen.
That's where suddenly what used to cost $10 costs you $1.12 million to buy a loaf of bread.
Well,
with deflation, because everything gets
deflation,
all
the price
out.
goes down,
One day
but
to the next day,
then the money gets all
changed.
out of whack, and I don't know. The problem is the government does not want deflation, so the best they're going to do is get it back to even. So really, the only option to even that out is to get people to earn more somehow, and what he's saying now is tariffs won't cause inflation, but they could cause a price bump. We just had a massive price bump, and now we're going to have another one. And so effectively, we have to have across the board a wage growth that covers two giant price increase, like broad price increases across the board. And where does that come from?
The only way that would possibly happen is if we went to and won a very big war, because we would need a war economy.
That's definitely
the only
one
way to get that much growth in an economy that fast is through war. It could historically. I don't think it's ever been done otherwise.
Well, I think, or like an industrial revolution. Like I think AI has a possibility.
Okay, yeah, I apologize. And the industrial revolution did do that too, but to a degree, that was a little more spread out over time. The industrial revolution, as opposed to like World War II, where there was a very dominant winner as far as economic power went after the war, and it was a short-ish time span, less than 10 years. By the way, the winner was us, USA. We got all the money.
Well, and I mean, a lot of companies are like
people still owe us for that too. I think countries
a lot, especially new companies. They put a lot of the employees, get paid partly in stocks, and then now we get into this like, well, how do we make the value of a company go up, and how much of it is real? And a lot of the companies, they're trading at 20-time multipliers and all this type of stuff. It's like, a lot of it is just like kind of
in real estate.
I mean, a lot of it's like imaginary, right? It's just like, why does it cost this much? This is like, the price can completely be different from day to day. There's no like tangible, like underlying per se. But that's also what people's lives are tied to. Like that's how they were paid, and they need that thing to appreciate in value. And now we have all these things that have to go up in value in order. But I think that's also the key is like, how do we get a huge growth in earnings? Well, honestly, and I think, if you check out our other thing that we're doing lately, a lot of it comes down to being in the market. Like you will not earn money like you will in the market. And if you're not playing that game, it's going to be so hard. And that's now, Trump is doing the $1,000 to all the babies over the next 4 years or whatever. And the companies are matching it. And so we're going to have a generation that when they turn 18, they're going to have an IRA with tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars in it to start a company versus, today you're lucky if your parents have enough to send you to college. Great. If not, you're in fucking debt. And forget starting a business. How the fuck are you going to do that? So I don't know. It's like, I feel like this investment is like a long-term thing, but it is like, this is how you have to set them up to have this multiplying wealth thing from the day they're fucking born, so that by the time, hopefully they're smart enough to use it. But honestly, with how kids are these days, I think you got to be 30 at this day and age in order to be considered an adult. Like 18-year-olds are the most retardedest people.
I would not have been smart with a bunch of money. I would have been like, oh boy, I'm gonna put a little bit in my savings account and spend a bunch of money.
So I don't know, man. It's am I missing some? Oh, I'm missing some stuff here. Let's see. I mean, they are number crunchers and a little bit politically swayed, but at the same time, if we look at the first term from Trump, like it pretty much played out the same way. And the stock market, aside from COVID, was through the freaking roof. We had one of the best runs ever. So from like a market perspective, Trump's good for the market. I don't care what anyone says. Like, it just is true. I mean, he causes chaos, but at the end of the day, the prices went way the hell up. So Elon is he is a 3,000-year-old alien. I know, he's like a lizard, man. It's kind of crazy.
He's one of the lizard people.
Tesla stock is like one of the worst stocks to trade. I swear to God, it has like all stocks. Not maybe all stocks, but stocks typically have a personality, is how it's referred to. They behave a certain way. Tesla is erratic. Well, I mean, that's fucking Musk, actually. Now I'm thinking about it. Even his stock is erratic. There's no you cannot trust Tesla stock. So it'll do what it wants, so I wouldn't worry too much. I mean, he starts yelling at the president, the stock goes down, they kiss and make up, the stock goes up. You can't predict any of the shit with Tesla. It's all just erratic nonsense. Yeah, and a lot of companies, exactly, we can't afford wage growth. I mean, for us, we really were conservative. We bankrolled everything out of pocket and really only brought on employees as we could from cash flow perspective. But it is hard, and a lot of our competitors went out of business. They raised money, they spent it badly, and they couldn't generate what they needed to, and they went under. So it's tough. But playing the lottery, I mean, yeah, barter. I mean, at the end of the day, that's capitalism, right? I mean, when we look at stocks, like how much you're willing to pay for something, how much someone willing to sell it for, and at the end of the day, that's fundamentally the truth of truths, right? What someone's willing to pay and what someone's willing to sell, that's the price. That's life.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. But anyway, but it
has to come from somewhere. I mean, are you expecting to see it then in their margins? Margin pressure on U.S. corporates, especially retailers that import all this stuff?
Well, why couldn't it come from the producers in Vietnam who want to keep market share?
Right, and then she's saying, where does that come from? Because they keep blasting, the consumer has to be the one paying all this extra, and he's saying, well, no, how about the producer, especially if they want to be dominant and they have huge margins, okay, or maybe it's split, they bring some down.
You don't have to profit you don't have to break your profit records every year. Profit is profit. I mean, as long as you're not losing money. I just think a lot of companies are kind of greedy when it comes to that.
I mean,
the
problem is when you're publicly traded, you kind of have to keep.
I mean, okay. I mean, a positive growth. I guess I just don't mean. Like, it shouldn't always just be about.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I think there's other ways to get more revenue than just increasing profit margins. Like, you can also be innovative to reduce costs. Yes. You can open new There's product
other
lines
to do than just increase your prices to get as much money out of the consumer as you possibly can. That's what I mean. Yeah. That's the greedy end. I think there's more creative and actually good long-term ways of doing it, including innovation. And, that's all about competition too. Got to stay ahead of your competitors. So you have to reinvest in yourself.
So that's kind of his angle. And I agree. I think maybe there will be some increase to the eventual consumer, but I think a lot of it is the initial producer, okay, take some off your margin. Okay, the first leg of the supply chain, okay, take a little bit off your margin. Okay, the first distributor, take a little bit off your margin. All right, now when it gets to the consumer, it's maybe there's something left. Okay, great. Now, but we've already taken off a chunk of it, right? It's like we're
so
not
the whole
talking
burden
about
isn't on the consumer.
Right.
You think that's what's happening? They're negotiating with their suppliers.
I think they're negotiating with their suppliers. I think many of the apparel companies, their margins became abnormally high during COVID. So maybe one thought is we'll see a normalization there.
What about other trade deals, Mr. Secretary? Because we're getting close to that July 9th deadline on Wednesday. Are we going to see more of these type of deals between now and then?
We are. Of course, everyone waits till the last minute. They think that they can get the best deal. And as I've warned when I've done other media, these countries should be careful because their rate could boomerang back to their April 2nd rate.
On that note, Mr. Secretary, the EU Commissioner-in-Chief Ursula von der Leyen tweeted earlier saying that we're ready for a deal. Should we expect the EU deal to get over the line by Wednesday?
We'll see. Again, I'm not going to get out in front of the president. It'll be his decision. I did meet with my EU trade counterpart this morning. Ambassador Greer will be working diligently over the weekend. So we'll see what we can do with the European Union.
So it sounds like.
So he's saying, and this I think finally is the whole point. We're watching this clip where they're about to do some funny shit, but.
That's suggesting that one's in a better place than, say, Japan. And we'll obviously follow the president's posts on Japan over the course of the last few days.
Look, Japan are great allies, and they are in a tough spot right now. They have an upper house election on July 20th, which I think gives them a lot of domestic constraints in terms of doing a deal. So we'll see where the Japanese deal goes.
I just want to follow up on something you just said. You said that otherwise it'll revert back to the Liberation Day tariffs, which were very high. So is that what's going to happen if there aren't trade deals in place? I think previously you've said that as long as they're negotiating in good faith, the 10% sort of will.
So this is the other piece too, right? So he's talking about, everybody trying to wait till the last minute. July 9th was the deadline. We're on July 5th. What kind of deal are you trying to hold out for? And if you're negotiating in good faith, then holding out to the last second, to me, is not in good faith. So a lot of the arguments they're trying to throw around is good faith and why can't we have this, whatever, and is it going to go all the way back up to that crazy 80% or whatever? It's well, if we were negotiating in good faith, why didn't we get it done yet? Number one. And a lot of it too, it's kind of crazy how back and forth we are with some of these countries, with Japan, and they're they came in, they were going to invest. There was the U.S. Steel thing, which I'm not even sure if that's where the state of that is at, but they were going to buy U.S. Steel, and they're no, you can't do that, but you can invest in it. But then what does that mean? And to what extent do they control it? If they control most of it, how is that different from them buying it? And so I don't know, there's a lot there. And then apparently they had a rice shortage, but they wouldn't buy our rice, and that apparently pissed Trump off. And he's well, if you won't buy our rice, then I guess we'll just give you a 25% tariff. Haven't I?
Okay. Huh.
So I don't know. So now she's saying well, is it going to just be the same thing?
I wonder why they wouldn't want our rice. They eat a lot of rice. I can they know they eat a lot of rice.
I don't know. I don't know if
rice.
I'm not sure.
Growing rice takes up a lot of space.
Well, let's see. Let's see if we can find anything. Why won't Japan take our rice?
Maybe it's not the right kind of rice.
This is not entirely accurate. Japan does import U.S. rice, though the system is highly regulated. So it's probably they have some regulation in Japan.
Oh, okay. That's fair. That's fair. They eat a lot of rice, so I'm sure they want it to be the right.
I mean, it's true, but at the same time, it's if you don't have any,
Still, yeah. I mean, you're low, but I don't think rice is rice, and you could probably test it pretty easily, but. What do I know?
I think it's more of they just don't want imports. They just want their own. They just don't want things coming in. But who knows?
Maybe they get it from someone else that they don't want to stop getting it from. I don't know.
Will carry over. You'll extend that kind of deadline. What's your latest thinking here?
My latest thing is we're going to do what the president wants, and he'll be the one to determine whether they're negotiating in good faith. So I'm not going to give people a 10% extension on national TV when they should try to get it across the finish line.
On international TV, no less.
Global.
Okay, so he just said he's not going to give away any secrets on national television because they might be watching. And he just said, this is international television, actually. So he's wait a minute. No, sir. We are international television. And now he's oh, yes, my bad. Global television.
global TV.
Exactly, and no doubt being watched in EU capitals, in Asian.
And no doubt being watched in EU capitals and Asian countries.
Capitals, because the deadline's looming. I'm really interested on the baseline and what people might expect long term if everything goes to plan over the next 2 weeks. Obviously, we've got two numbers.
So of course they would be watching CNBC right now because the deadlines are closing in, and this is where they will get like
This is
some
where they
sort
go.
of inside scoop, not directly working with the administration, of course. Like CNBC, this is where they're watching right now to see if any secrets get revealed.
As we can focus on 20% Vietnam, 10% that you did with the UK. Is the UK only got 10% because they were early, because they came with love and friendship? Is the EU or Japan, if they agree to all the terms, is it more likely to be splitting the difference between those two numbers, or what?
Again, I'm not going to talk about the deals on intergalactic television, but the UK.
He just went there. He's like, damn. He's like, you're stroking it, big boy. You need some spit on there too.
CNBC, that's like.
He said intergalactic. He said intergalactic.
That was funny.
Whoa!
Excuse me, I ran out of water. I'm gonna get some more water.
Holy moly! So anyway,
came to the front of the line. Very, very good deals. I'll tell you, they negotiated very, very well for the British people, and I think both sides thought that it was an excellent deal.
Let's talk about the jobs report, because we got a pretty positive report.
and they just let it go. They said, all right, we pushed it a little too far, it seems. Oh my God. Yeah, Elon's home planet just got an update. I don't know, man. Like, what? I was listening to this in the car and I was like, did he just say that? I had to grab it and throw it in the playlist. I was like, there is no way. CNBC. He said, oh, he was just trying to be nice. He was like, yeah, there's no way I would say. He was like, oh, national television, like, oh, whatever. It's kind of big deal. And they're like, you can't get away with that, little man. We are international news that the Europe and Asia and everybody is watching right now.
Kremlin's
sir.
watching this.
Sir. And he said, oh, yeah, my bad. Intergalactic television. I forgot. And then they just dropped it. And that is how you deal. That is how you deal with that. Oh, my God. I couldn't believe that. All right, so this one, I don't know. This is kind of a last thing. That last thing was kind of funny. This one, I think it's just a little bit relevant to what we're doing and a little bit of background. Apparently, there's a streamer, influencer, podcaster, whatever. His name's Ethan Klein, and he is... I guess kind of against React content in some ways, but okay with it in others. So like kind of what we're doing is a little bit of React content. We're pulling up other people's stuff. We're talking about it and doing whatever. But it's like, for us right now, we're also doing like a mix of stuff. It's not like we're watching one really long thing and kind of talking about it.
Right.
So there's a little bit of legal, like, is this... fair, we got YouTubers that literally take someone's hours and hours of work and then just like watch it and talk a little bit about it. Like, the argument is, are they taking views away from the original author? Are they like, more or less stealing, their copyright or whatever? And in a lot of the React content, like Asmongold here, like does a lot of this, right? He reacts to like different news and things.
Right.
But it's not like so there's like a spectrum, and we're going to see some of these people are on the other end of the spectrum where they will just put up a video, hit play, and more or less walk away. Or even if they are there, they're just watching the video and not really doing anything.
Right.
So the idea is for fair use, you know, like when we take all this time to kind of pause and chat and like give some opinion about this or that, or like we tangent off onto this or that, it's like, you know, this is a fair use of it because it's in a criticism or in some sort of referential way that's not like detractive of the original. Like we're not a replacement necessarily for the original. Like I wouldn't say come watch us instead of Willow wants books or whatever. It's probably not a good idea. But at any rate,
in fact, we say, hey, if you're interested in finding out more, go check out Willow.
Yeah, so great. If you like that shit, there you go.
Right. If you want to learn, or you're like this stuff, you want to read the books she likes, then or he likes,
or whatever
they like, go for it. Right.
You're welcome to it. Everyone to their own. So
that's
I think what we're doing,
freedom of freedoms and liberty means.
Absolutely. So I think it's just interesting to be aware. This is probably like one of the biggest or biggerest lawsuits because he kind of like trapped them. So he put together a really long like critique of Hassan Piker, and it's called a content nuke. Like they put together all this like damning evidence of like what the person has done over time, and like they condense it all into like a why you should hate this person more or less, and they call it content nuke. And so he dropped this content nuke on Hassan Piker. Hassan Piker is like one of the biggest, if not the biggest, streamer on Twitch, and he talks about a lot of crazy leftist, but like extreme leftist, like Palestinian, and like he interviewed one of the Houthis on his podcast and was like supporting them and all this kind of stuff. So, you know, very controversial, whatever. And so they dropped this content nuke, and he got it copyright with the U.S. Library of Congress. So he like apparently went through whatever process and like got this all officially like as most copyrighted thing that you could like he got it really tight, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna wait and see who more or less just plays this with not in a fair use way, and I'm gonna go after them. Because he knew a lot of his haters would do it.
I know there are probably rich people in the world who became rich doing things similar, so that's cool.
So let's take a look at kind of what they're saying.
In fact, Denims, Frogan. And Denims, Frogan, and Casey Tron. You guys should pay me for this. You guys should send me right now a super thanks for this.
So Denims, Frogan, and Crazy Tron. So I don't know if you can see over here in the corner right here. These are the three. So Frogan is like this, I guess Middle Eastern. She wears this little thing on her head, but she like was like, hey, if you give me enough money in like chat donations or whatever, we will build a cake of the two towers and recreate like 9/11 on stream or whatever, and then eat it because she's a fat bitch. So yeah, she's a fucking psychopath who deserves to be fucking, you know, flamed. The lady in the middle, that's Denims, and apparently I'm not 100% sure of the backstory, but she is claiming that another big React streamer named Tectone is like a rapist and this and that, and she does like OnlyFans stuff, and he called her a whore, and there's a bunch of drama and whatever, but at any rate, she's one of Hassan Piker's lackeys. These three are like Hassan. They call them orbiters. They're like in his sphere, I guess.
Gotcha.
And then the lady on the right is Casey Tron, and she's just more or less an idiot that smokes weed on the stream and doesn't do anything. And she was like, I'm so fucking high, I don't even know what's happening right now. I don't even know what's going on.
You want me super thanks? Okay. Okay. You better super thanks, all of you, in this video, because I'm gonna give you some free advice here. Non-legal legal advice. Non-legal. Because, you know, I'm not their personal lawyer. So, but here's what they would do. Here's what I would do. What I would do is this. I would say as a settlement lawyer, because Ethan does not have to settle. He can say no. But I will say this, and here's how you do it. Here's how we do it, guys. Here's how we do it, chat. You say, I'm going to rat out, like a jailhouse snitch, I'm going to rat out the people that called CPS, and I'm going to give you their names and all their information.
So apparently, in order to like attack Ethan Klein, they called Child Protective Services and like used it to harass him and like threatening his children and like, you know, and he really did not like that. And
no, that's freaking bringing kids into that's.
So that's kind of what started this like vicious like retaliation. It was like he kind of like he got dumped on and like signed off, and then they went after him more, and then went after his kids, and then he was like, oh no, that's not gonna fly. And so that's what kind of prompted this. And so he's saying the best thing that they could do is give up whoever called CPS on him, and he would more than likely, you know, drop any charges or whatever that he's you know, going to put on
pursuing. Right.
Introducing Iron Beam.
I need to get premium, man. We can't be
Iron Beam
dealing with
those
these
ads.
He's leaving this out. Is that if they know who did it, calling and weaponizing a governmental agency on another person is as a federal agency and submitting false reports. So this actually like aiding and abetting, right?
Level.
So actually, Tectone. Let me see if I can show this real quick and find it. Where is it? Yeah, it's right here. Legal Mindset offers Tectone help in finding a lawyer against Denims. DM me, bro. We can get you a defamation lawyer.
Yeah, exactly. It's like swatting, but for kids.
Tectone
Exactly.
said he wants to sue Denims for defamation, but couldn't find lawyers to follow through. Why is that? He's not looking hard enough. If Techie wants to hit me up, Techie, DM me, bro. I'll find you a lawyer. We can get you a defamation lawyer. If Tectone, call me. Maybe. You know, call me maybe. F23 says Tectone said he wants to.
Man, he DM'd him? Yes, I saw this. And so, yeah, things are heating up pretty fast, right? And I think I got a pretty good one yesterday, smiley face, but I DM'd him anyways since he was cool. Gentlemen, I used to pray for times like this. Oh my God. The greatest Twitch era? Yep, there it is. This is insane. Oh my fucking God, man. And we're going to get some good content, boys. Yes, we are.
Welcome in.
This is going to be fucking insane. I cannot wait to see this. And then, here's another one too. Listen to this. Bro, Baldy hits her with the reality check. Look at that. What?
Out right now, but tell Ethan I will debate him.
I'll debate him? She's going to debate him.
You can debate him. You can debate him in a court of law. So you want to debate Ethan Klein? You have your opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
There's a moderator to the debate. It's called a federal judge.
There's even people in the court to make sure it doesn't get out of hand and violent. They're called bailiffs.
So, like, Asmongold, for instance, reacted to the content nuke as well, but, you know, it went from a 1 hour content to like a 3 hour content, and he obviously did a lot of his own insight. And, you know, Ethan Klein's not trying to go against people like that. He's trying to just, more or less, really was looking to really get back at a couple of people that really fucked with him pretty hard.
He was protecting himself and at the same time getting back at them. You know, they started it and they took it too far, and they especially took it too far when they friggin' tried to get his kids involved.
Well,
and his kid taken away from him. Essentially, he's a single dad.
And it's
some states CPS don't play. They just come in, they take your kid. They don't care what you say or what the truth is.
And these people on their stream before, and so he wanted to kind of catch he had a list of people he was hoping would do this, but I mean, he didn't do anything, right? He produced the content and then waited to see what happened. So
and then he let them
hang themselves.
You know, and that was what I was trying to say in a different way.
And in the front of their content, they're like, hey, if you were trying to watch this but you didn't want to support Ethan, like, you know, you don't want to give him views or like revenue through his channel for the content that he
watch
produced.
Through us, so you can
watch it with us. That way you can see it and support us instead of supporting him. Which is the exact thing that like is like the damning thing.
Breaking the law.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, exactly. You were up front saying you're doing something illegal, and then you did it. So
this is exactly what our intention is, and this is why we're doing it.
So these three very specifically called it out. Other people that he was hoping would did do a proper reaction, piece to it. So he didn't go after them. But these three specifically were like, "Hey, we're not even gonna try and pretend." And apparently, Casey Tron, she smoked weed longer, like she was actively smoking for more minutes than she was talking. And then when she was talking, she was completely out of her mind and had no idea what was going on.
Okay.
So I think the other thing that comes out of this, though, like the point that I'm really looking about is the precedent, because there wasn't really a precedent around this. But now we're going to have a line, and it's at least a line, and it might come closer, but we have a line that says, if you go out of your way to state plainly that you're watching the entirety of someone else's work in order to avoid them getting revenue from it while allowing other people to consume it,
right?
That is going to be across the line. That's on the other side.
There's anti-piracy laws in place against that people have gone to jail for already.
Oh,
so
yeah, but
good luck to them, I guess.
Where was that? We had a piracy thing. Oh,
I mean, it's been back in even Napster days, but there's been cases of
2010
kids downloading stuff and their grandparents getting in trouble for it. So I don't know how that's evolved since then. I'm sure it's still around.
Anyway, what I'm hoping is that we get a line, and at least we know that's across the line, and maybe they establish what's on this side of the line. But for us as well, it's helpful to know, in a reactionary standpoint, I don't think anything that we're doing, for the most part, we don't even watch full clips. We watch, we end up watching 45 seconds, and then I talk a whole bunch.
Pretty much.
So if anyone wants to try and say something,
a whole 8 minutes worth of content, and the rest is us talking about it.
Piracy is a crime when you get caught, not when you do it. So I don't know. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, but it's hard to get away with that when your crime is actually recorded and displayed upon the internets for the entire world.
If you're going out of your way to display your criminality, then
and this is there's a step there of not thinking about what's going to happen after.
Yeah. So I think that'll be good. Overall, I support everything that's happening there. I think terrible people just kept doing terrible things, kept getting away with it, and now, it's like the FAFO. That's what I'm saying. We're back.
There is a lot of that.
We're back. We're back. It's no longer, your emotional hijacking. It's no longer, I feel a certain way and therefore I'm righteous. It's nope. These are obviously, you're out of line, and we're not dealing with it no more. So, I guess along those lines, since we were talking about piracy.
BitTorrent accounted for 1/3 of all internet traffic. LimeWire had more monthly users than Facebook, and the Pirate Bay was the only video store in town where you were sure to find what you were looking for. Hypothetically, of course.
So, yeah, everyone remember the Pirate Bay and
that was very true.
And torrents and anything? Did anyone do any of that? No, of course not. We're all good here.
I don't eat corn,
and
I'm not a big corn fan. It's stuck in my teeth.
Yeah. So it comes down to, I think for a lot of people, is the cost. The cost of ownership was kind of out of whack. And it was just, there wasn't a convenient way. I don't know. For me now, once Steam became really good, I feel like it's just easier to just buy the freaking game. I can log in anywhere with my account, download it, install it. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to worry about the virus that's in my games. And all the time it would take 2 weeks and you'd get 96% of the file. Not that I have any experience with it. I don't know what I'm talking about right now, but I'm just saying and you'd have to just wait and when's the other 4% going to show up? It's everybody has the same 96. Who's the asshole that seeded 96%? You fuck. Anyway, so all those things, and then it's just the cost. Steam summer sale right now, I'm buying games I probably won't even play, but it's just it's easy. They'll be in my library. It's just there. I can do it. And yeah, piracy went away. I mean, I think there was a little bit of like, oh, you know, whatever, like there's some risk. Some people, they made a bunch of noise about this, that, and the other. And yeah, but
it still exists, and it probably always will. But the amount that's being done now is negligible.
Oh, yeah, minuscule.
Because again, it's just easier to pay your $8 to $20 a month on your streaming service and forget.
Well, that's the thing. It's
always there.
It was easier. Netflix went from being like $7 to now it's like 15 with ads and like 20 without ads or whatever. It's like
cheap subscription. Yeah,
exactly.
Really
and now, like,
end.
you know, YouTube wants $10 a month. Spotify wants however much. You know, we got all these services, and it's like, oh my god, and they keep going up.
The price of streaming, like their overhead went up somehow. I mean, I don't.
Look at Netflix.
A little, but
Netflix stock. I don't know why.
I haven't looked at it in a while.
Oh, you see it on my screen? It's at an insane all-time high.
Wow. I didn't expect that.
Over the last, 4 years, it almost...
I assume it did really well during the pandemic, but
8
after
times or
that,
something?
I thought it wasn't doing as well because of the competition.
Yeah. So I don't know why they're going up,
Netflix
up,
and
up.
Amazon are the two real big streamers in my
But
opinion. Disney's
I canceled my
trying, but they
Netflix
just-
because the price kept going up.
All they
Like,
can
why
do
does the
is
price
merge.
keep going up if your company's at all-time highs? Like, you clearly are making money. Like, why you have to keep raising the rates? I don't understand.
Yeah. Good question.
It's insanity. And so anyway, yep. Piracy apparently is on its way back because
The
of
world
that.
was slowly switching from
Yeah, it makes
physical to
sense,
digital
too.
media. And even people who weren't particularly tech savvy realized that digital goods could be replaced endlessly with practically zero marginal cost. At its peak,
Yeah, you can't share it anymore. That was a
all
big
music
change.
downloads were pirated because it had become cheaper and, above all else, an easier way to fill up large digital libraries that were being made possible by cheap digital storage. But then it just stopped. Since 2012, the internet.
Yeah, even though, you know, internet's faster and all these things, we could share files way more easily. It's just, you know, honestly, again, a lot of the services are great, but it's like we talked about, the price of everything went up and wages didn't, and we're expecting price of everything to go up again. And again, wages aren't. And, you know, even
at least
you
not
know,
to match by any
even
significant means.
giving employees a 10% raise, it technically still doesn't really match depending on your lifestyle, you know, and whatever, maybe certain people is fine, but you know, depending upon it is like a lot of things are just a lot more expensive. I don't know.
There's a big shift, and there has been over the last, I don't even know how many years, like 30 to 40, maybe a little longer, where it used to be really cheap to like exist. Like food was cheap, rent was cheap, water was basically free, electricity was super cheap. All that stuff was cheap. What was expensive was the luxury items, your cars and your TVs and your radios and your electronics, and anything that wasn't survival based was more expensive. And now it's flipped. Now everyone needs their smartphones, which are relatively cheap, and everyone has one, even homeless people.
Yeah, I know.
They're homeless
they give them
because
to
they can't
homeless
afford
people.
rent, because rent is way too much, because they can afford $1,000 phone once and pay $20 a month for service or $50 a month for service. but they
Free
can't
service if
afford
you got no income. I mean, they got all these
$1,500 for rent
programs.
every month, and still have money left over for food and insurance and, you know, gas, and it's just ridiculous. Like, just
$20 for a
surviving
full
is
shopping
so
cart. Well,
expensive.
I don't know about that, but
Like, I was
definitely
lucky
more.
to have good credit, and I have a mortgage, but I couldn't afford rent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's weird. Like, it
Well,
used to be
rent
if you
went
couldn't
up,
afford it, you
up,
rented
up.
because it was cheaper. But now,
now it's the same.
lucky
Or
to be able to get a good mortgage, so it's cheaper than rent, because rent is just unaffordable. So you have to live with other people and share.
A lot of times
That's
it's
the only
roughly
way
the
to
same amount of
survive.
money, but you don't own anything at the end. But at the same
Well,
time,
yeah,
you can walk away from it.
I think it's more. I mean, with a good credit score, you could. Get
if you had a mortgage from a long time ago, it'll be cheaper.
Before
but if you get like a mortgage now,
up, before the rates hiked up. So before 2020, basically.
Yeah.
Anything after 2020, good luck. I mean, you could have really good credit. You're still only get like what, 4.9. Like, good luck.
All right. Cageman says he quit Netflix for
still
another
under 5
reason.
is good, but I mean, it's better than nothing.
He quit because they do the same dumbass thing who made me leave their linear TV for good. Only reason, 1 episode per week instead of the whole season directly. Yeah, binge watching is gluttony in some ways, but I agree. Sometimes I just want to watch the whole fucking thing. I don't want to watch it over an 8-month period. I want to watch the whole thing over the weekend and then be done with it. You know what I'm saying? I want to immerse myself in it, and that's it. But yeah, I agree with that. Why
Bobby's
why
got
do
it
that?
right. That's about the same ratio as it is around here, I would say. In fact, I'd say like a mortgage is possibly even a little lower than that. I mean, it obviously depends on the
my
size
mortgage
of the home,
was like.
But for like a 2-bedroom apartment here, rent is going to be around $1,200 to $1,400, whereas having a mortgage, depending on your rate, it's going to be definitely less than that. And it's just like.
Yeah, I mean, I paid off my house.
With a mortgage, you also pay property taxes, which is
that's the thing, and the taxes keep going up. And when you sell your house, your taxes jump. When you sell a house, the taxes jump because you lose the exemption, and they reassess at like a new rate, and then it goes up. So a lot of times they do. Now they're getting these fancy financing where the seller finances it, and they don't actually sell it to you. So to avoid the tax change, because in some places, like Florida, the tax can be like $80,000 a year, but it might only be $5,000 right now. But because when you sell it, the sale price went from the house being a $180,000 house to $1.2 million. Now the taxes just went up.
Right.
63 times or something, and now you can't even afford the tax.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these places don't have caps on how the taxes get calculated. So when the house sells for some astronomically high comparative rate, the taxes, the recalculation on the taxes become out of whack. And now they're looking at new laws to limit how much a tax can go up and this and that and everything. And it's like, God bless, the whole thing is messed up. The whole thing needs to be
a little too late for
redone.
Some of that, but hopefully it happens. Yeah, there's a lot of reform required in this country.
Yeah, that's all messed up. Because even when I was looking at selling my house, I'm like, well, shit.
Maybe
people
not
don't realize
at least just so much as some re-equalization or whatever.
It's coming, but I think a lot of it too.
If something isn't positive doesn't occur, then something negative will. So,
that's the thing. Either we have a crash and then it figures itself out, or we figure it out before then, and ideally, people don't lose a bunch of value. But I think people thinking about their house as like a long-term wealth builder is not a good idea. Overall, it's not a great. It's not a good investment.
Not anymore.
I've changed my whole perspective on it, and even what I'm looking at now is if I sold my house,
it's strange too because real estate.
Everything else went up, so I'm not getting anything good. And then you got to jump in taxes. So if I sold my house and bought something same or better, my taxes are going to be way higher, and the disproportional
your mortgage rate's going to be higher.
Right. Yeah, everything is not going to be right, and it's it's not even worth it. So for me, it's I don't plan to sell my house. At best, I'm going to rent it. If not, I'll let some family live there or something. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. It's this thing. I don't know. It's just home ownership is different now.
Yeah, it is. It's much more of a burden in a lot of ways.
Ravioli pasta dislikes woke liberals. Well, I think we can probably all agree with that.
What was that?
Ravioli Pasta says he dislikes woke liberals, and I think we can all agree with that.
I think we can all agree with that on this particular channel. Yes, we can second that and third it, probably fourth and fifth it.
So that's online piracy. I don't know. Like Netflix, again, I don't get it. I don't know why they. I mean, yeah, they did the deal with WE, and they're doing some other stuff, and like, you know, even the Tyson. Like that's the first time I logged into my Netflix in like a year was to watch that, and then it didn't even work. It was constantly buffering. Netflix is like the biggest streaming service in the world. They account for a chunk of the internet traffic
problem too
globally.
When I had a subscription, I canceled mine because honestly, the reason I canceled my Netflix wasn't really just so much the price, was that their content was just junk. It's like I was sitting on this subscription and I couldn't watch anything because the only things worth watching were old things that are for free on Tubi. So why would I be doing this? So I stopped.
Yeah.
Same thing with Disney. Like, it was just a bunch of garbage.
Oh my god!
Man, they put out so much junk. It's just like, ugh. Like the best stuff I've seen on a lot of these services lately has just been mediocre at best.
And my Wix website really has to capture the same.
Rachel Zegler demands South Park episode be banned after getting humiliated on TV. This is a suggestion via channel member. Let's go and jump into this video immediately. This coming
you
from
reminded me of this.
Hollywood Confidential.
Everyone wants to ban the episodes of South Park.
Oh, not again. Yeah,
Oh no.
It wasn't just me. They were taking all my favorite people and replacing them with diverse women complaining about the patriarchy.
Nothing has brought me greater joy than watching the Walt Disney
Company
absolutely panic over the last few weeks. They're mad at South Park because they're making fun of their woke ideologies, constantly race swapping or religion swapping everything in their movies.
It's a brand new exclusive event with all your favorite South Park characters.
Dude, school's going to be so awesome today. I have
Religion swapping.
I like big boobs.
Oh, bro, no, really? Guys, what episode is this? I need to see this immediately.
It makes perfect sense. I think the problem is you.
So Snow White slept and waited for her prince to come, but he never did.
What is this, Simpsons?
Because a woman shouldn't have to depend on a man. Snow White was brought back to life by a lady doctor.
And she lived happily ever after?
Well, she couldn't indulge in strenuous activities like handball, but otherwise, she was fine.
I've been, as a young person in this industry who has no filter and no idea what she's doing.
And if you disagree with the sentiment, I don't need your business.
Weird.
But I really don't like her.
Yeah, in general, I can't. Everything about her is like so
Rachel
annoying.
Zegler, you mean?
Like, do you see? Yeah, it's like she's making these weird like faces. She's just like obnoxious.
Sort of exhausts you. Just having to listen to her. Her like Valley Girl mannerisms seem, I don't know, annoying to me.
Yeah, and she's like,
with a person
the
like
prince
this,
can't possibly be the one that saves the princess. Like, oh no, we're not down with that shit. That's like, who the hell wrote that? We're
I'm an independent woman.
strong.
I don't need no man.
The problem with independent, strong women is no man loves you. Like, is that what you want?
Yeah,
like, you
that's
are you a
lonely.
lesbian? Is that a clue
great
for
for
I'm a
taking care of
lesbian?
cats.
Do women like that? Do other women want a strong lesbo woman?
Or no man, or just to be alone. I don't know.
Well, that's true. Or, yeah, do you just want to be alone? Is that, like, you don't want to have friends?
I'm sure they have some friends. They just don't have man friends.
Who would put up with that?
Like real men friends.
Oh.
That will
Well,
change
yeah,
their
maybe.
tires and
I
crush
mean, yeah, I
tires
guess maybe like Lily Tina.
Yeah.
I really Snow White. The reason why is that the
It's
actress
the
who plays
Spectrum
Snow White
Snow White.
all the time.
I really don't like her, bro. There's like no redeeming qualities.
I don't need your business.
I think her eyes are too far apart for her to be taken seriously as an actress.
Oh, yeah?
Did you just see? Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I
don't-
can't unsee
yeah,
it
once you
now.
see it, you
I
can't
can't
unsee it,
unsee
exactly.
it. What did you just do to me? What the hell?
They're so far apart.
Did
it's
anyone
weird.
else just have that happen? Oh, my God.
That's why she wears sunglasses a lot, I bet. I would if I had
let's see.
eyes that wide apart. Granted, I'm not an actress or trying to be Snow White or influence. Well,
You'd still not go
trying
back to
influence
renting?
the internet with my political views, but I'm not doing it and getting paid for it. I'm doing it for free because I believe
Yeah, the
in
baking
America.
shows are nice.
I believe in the United States of America.
Yeah.
And I believe in President Donald J. Trump. Second term. I didn't believe him in first term. I'll admit that now. I was a slow.
I know, me too. I was one of the people that had the derangement syndrome because the news convinced me. The news kept saying it. I believed it.
We're saying the world is crazy. We need a person who's not so crazy. We need a businessman. We need a statesman. We need Donald J.
Oh my
Trump.
God. I need you to make a Pepe of her in this. I'm going to take a screenshot of this. I need Pepe, Rachel Ziegler.
Oh my God. I don't know if I can do that. She's a real person and Pepe's a not real person.
They look almost the same. It should be easy.
It should be easy. We'll see what I can do with Photoshop. I'll try.
All right, we're gonna try and have Pepe Ziegler. I mean, it's pretty much there already. I don't think we really have to do. Maybe just make her green, just a little green with spots or something.
Is he green? I thought he was all white, like a drawing, like a hand drawing. Like, talk about the guy with the grin, right? It looks
Pepe
like
frog.
how she looks like
This,
Yeah.
Pepe.
Yeah.
Yeah, green. He's green?
Yeah, green.
What do you
He's
mean
a frog.
white?
I forgot he was a frog. I was forgetting he was a frog.
You say what? You white? Anyway, did you see what she just said? She said, "Anything I do, people will wait in line to see
all the time."
I really don't like her, bro. There's like no redeeming quality.
Oh my God! I didn't even notice that face. That was her.
I didn't even know who. I mean, this is that big of a deal. I didn't know who she was until they started talking.
She was
about how horrible
nobody.
She was, in
Was she
Snow White.
anybody?
I'm like, who is this person? Like, why does she think she's important and famous? I'm guessing she was like a Disney kid. Like, she was on one of those Disney sitcoms for preteens. That's
West
where a lot
Side
of these
Story.
actresses
Oh,
and
she
actors
was
get their
in
start.
Hunger Game prequel. Okay, well, whatever. I guess she'd been around a little bit, but
Hunger
apparently
Game
no one
prequel?
raised her good because she's a fucking idiot and like completely out of her mind. Her parents must have just let her do whatever she wanted because she started making money, and they're like, "All right, well,
Yeah, probably.
I don't know.
which
She's
is
broke
sad.
now, and we'll just go with it, I guess." All right, get out of here, AI. All right, well, that's her relieved I didn't get killed face. I don't really. I'm
glad I didn't get caught by that fish hook.
Oh my God! I need a fish now. She's a Pepe frog and you just put a fish hook coming
looks like
down
a
right
fish.
into that mouth.
It's like a grouper. Oh my God!
Oh my God! Okay. Oh my God! She's
Does
giving
look
me
like a
such good
grouper.
stuff.
I don't need your business. And everything I do.
She said, "I don't need your business. Everything I do."
sorry.
People will wait in line to see. How full of yourself? You don't even have
people do
any
like,
career,
like
any history.
train
Like you
crashes.
are just like, what are you talking about?
I don't need your
Oh
business.
yeah, noted.
I don't need your business. Thanks. Really? Really?
Got hit with another brutal humiliation, and this time it's South Park bringing the heat. In their latest episode, the legendary animated series goes all in, roasting Zegler and the total disaster that was Disney's Snow White fake movie inside the episode. It's called Woke White, the reinvention.
You think it's perfectly normal that
Oh,
Cartman is
guys.
really a black woman?
You probably don't like that Indiana Jones got replaced by a female either, huh? No problem with Black Spider-Man, too.
The best part?
They replaced Cartman with that black lady? This is Cartman?
They're just replacing it with other characters.
This season's gonna be out of control. I saw some clips. I've been waiting for this. South Park is the best. I have been waiting so long. Oh my God. Really? You think? Hold on. We got Ravioli saying, I don't know if he went back to watch our latest Greta Thunberg overview, but we did review her last week. He is saying she's not as woke as people make her up to be, and she is responsible for environmental protection and preservation, and why that got to be associated with her wokeness. But the problem is she threw her cell phone and all of her friends threw their shit in the ocean.
Yeah, that's
before
really
they
bad.
got boarded, and then they were eating individually wrapped sandwiches, and they brought coffee
All that
creamer
plastic
and rice-a-roni. So I don't know. I have a hard time with that one. And if she was such an activist, I just can't see why she behaves so badly. Like, ugh.
Well, because
But
it gets
that's
some
true. I
attention,
haven't
like,
looked into it as much necessarily as I could have. So I will say we can do a second opinion piece on Greta Thunberg. If you throw me some articles, we will review them. One woman worse than Ziegler is Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She made me feel angry and uncomfortable how she treated Ford's Indiana Jones character. Hold on, I gotta look up this lady now. Who is this? Oh,
this is about the new Indiana Jones movie. I haven't seen that. I just heard how horrible
let's
it was.
throw that on standby.
I kind of
for a
forgot they
second.
even made one.
But this series, this South Park season. Well, first off, if that's Cartman, that is out of control. I love it. I hope the whole episode, this sassy black bitch is the new Cartman, and I will die all episode.
Permanently?
The best part? They did it with that signature South Park swagger. No filters,
Guys, hold
no
on.
apologies.
Is that,
Just
like,
pure,
new?
unfiltered chaos.
No, make it more lame.
The other thing, so apparently Garrison is like Donald Trump. Like, he turned into Trump at some point, and he turned orange, and his hair is all like Trump and all this stuff. And he became president when Trump took over the first time. And his character, after it went back to being Garrison during Biden's term, and then at the end, he started like getting hooked on rallying again, and it became like an addiction for him. And he's like, "Don't make me come back." And then obviously Trump won again, so now Garrison is Trump again. And I don't know how much you follow South Park, but this guy is PC principal, so he's like always doing like politically correct stuff, and he's all about like, being, making sure everything is on up and up. And he fired Garrison, so Garrison comes back, and he's like, "Oh,
as the president." Right.
Yeah, exactly. As Trump. And he's like, and he's like, "Oh, can't we be friends again? Like, no hard feelings." He's like, "Well, I work so hard, and working so hard all day long makes my penis chapped. And the only thing that helps a chapped penis is saliva." He's like, "You know where I could get some saliva, PC principal?" Oh my God! Talk about mobster. He said, "You want to be friends again, huh?" So anyway, this
South Park has lasted as long as it has. So
I think that shit only gets better every season, and they
has some bad episodes, but it's overall pretty darn funny.
It is overall so good.
And
It's just all like
really hilarious
current,
episodes.
like mainstream stuff, like thrown into the most epically bizarre way. All right, let's see. Indiana.
That's where I learned most of my
Indy
politics.
Jones. Let's do that. Indy Jones. Let's see what this is.
Now we
all
got to go
about.
help people customize and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual.
Oh, the Dial of Destiny. That was the new one.
A couple of weeks ago, I made a video addressing the concerns
I haven't
many
seen
had with this franchise getting a reboot. Many of those problems had much to do with the way that
I stopped after Crystal Skull because that was bad enough.
as well as the presence of a woman whose job didn't seem to be much else other than providing a fresh female voice. Already.
Wait, we were just talking about this earlier. This hair. Something's wrong with her hair. It's not right, but it's still not as bad, but it's like close.
No, it's not as bad.
But it's kind of close, especially in this other scene where this first scene where you see her face. Can I get it to stop right? I don't know.
Her hair is like that's like more of a style from back.
It is okay.
Back
This
in the
isn't that
day.
bad. Hold on, let's see.
Whereas the other one was more
This
of a
is
trying to
worse.
hide it.
Yeah, that is true. Hold on. We're comparing this to
for obvious reasons, but also just because it didn't look right. It was like distractingly not right.
Yeah, this
Whereas
hair
at least her hair looks
versus
more or less
this hair.
Like how it
Yeah, so this is still more of like a woman's hair. Yes, and it is on a woman, so that's correct. This, what the fuck is that?
Presumably. Don't assume.
You think that's a wig? I am like wig blind. I am not. I can't. You think this is a wig?
See, if
I don't think so.
No, I don't think that's a wig. I
think we can see too much of like.
Woman whose job didn't seem to be much else other than providing.
If that's a wig, I don't know. I think it's a really bad one.
That last
The only reason why I can deal with this lady more probably than Ziegler is because Ziegler, because she's so young and so full of herself. Like at least this lady's a little bit older, and if she's got her own thing going on, whatever, like she's had some world experience at
one
least.
assumes with age comes a certain amount of wisdom and life experience that has at least taught you something. So yeah. I mean, at least she's coming from, you think.
At least coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
Even if it is all kind of crazy, at least it's not, not completely nothing.
Not just, I just decided to pull this out of my butt because I want to be angry at something, and this sounds like a great thing to be angry at.
All right, sup, fellow tards. We got Inspians. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but welcome. How you doing? All right. Well, I think we are getting
late.
Yeah, we are getting
You've
close.
been talking forever.
That's getting about to the end of our news for this week. Do I have anything else? I think one last thing. We got one last item on the agenda for this evening. And we're going to end it on The View, because The View, in my opinion, is kind of like it's like entertainment in a way. It's like comedy. Yeah, it's like, it's definitely comedy.
Persian princess, because folks, that's where I grew up. Yep, I grew up in Tehran, where I was forced to line up at school and chant "Death to America" over and over again, chanting for the destruction of the country of my birth. That was never going to happen. I used to silently mouth the words, but never actually say it. That was my little act of resistance in primary school. In Iran, I was forced to wear a dehumanizing hijab just to be allowed to attend school. This is a country where family members and family friends were targeted by the Islamist regime, arrested, beaten, and yes, even some were killed. Where having a picture of the Shah was tantamount to a death sentence. That's the Iran I grew up in, a country that went from being relatively modern, free and secular to being an Islamist hellhole. After the Islamic Revolution, women were stripped of their rights, and they remain to this day second-class citizens. Women can be arrested, beaten, some have even been killed for just showing their hair. So you can
I mean, don't they understand? Why are they showing their hair if they can be arrested and beaten? I mean, to some extent, just like when the sheriff came out and was like, if you throw a firebomb at a police officer, we're going to kill you. I mean, while I don't necessarily agree that this is worthy of being killed, they do say it very specifically, so
yeah, at least
I don't know.
They're not being obfuscating the rules.
Yeah,
pretty clear about them.
They're clear about it, so you can follow them or
it's
not.
also a matter of tolerance. Like, I mean, are they just talking about women who just don't wear what they're supposed to wear, or they're like my hair popped out because I bent over and it just happened? Like,
that's true. I mean, there's defiance and there's accident, I suppose.
Super harsh rules. I'm not saying these super harsh rules are good by any means, but I'm just trying to back you up on what you said. That's all.
understand why this week I was fascinated to learn that no, women in Iran don't have it so bad. Indeed, folks in America, if they happen to be black or gay, have it far worse. Well, that's what.
Oh gosh.
Does she? Is this your first time? Oh, she's from Australia. All right, she is not familiar with America. Okay, she does not understand.
But Australia isn't that much different from America right now as far as craziness goes. My understanding.
I would say overall, probably that's true, but at least in Australia, like if you go outside, there's a chance a kangaroo will kill you. So.
Oh, if you go outside, a kangaroo kill you, a spider will kill you, any number of the world's most deadliest snakes will kill you because they have the top 5. It's like frog looks at you wrong, you're dead. And that's not getting eaten out by mice. Apparently they have a mice problem. So they brought in a bunch of cats. I don't know how that worked out.
Yeah, it's
don't have as many
it is
Poor
like
Australia.
The problem is we have the most concentrated population of Karens in the globe, and they need things to do.
Sure. Yes.
And when they figure out, when they council up and they become their little Karen coven, and they figure out what they want to go after, I swear to God.
When they organize, that's when they get dangerous.
Well, that's when we realize who has all of the what do they call it? When you have a privilege, who has all the privileges,
this is true.
and who are the people that deserve to be given things because they are less privileged or even systemically put down.
Yes. Systemically. I love that word.
The problem with Canada right now is they do have Karens, but they have a lot of like invading, like, I want to say like Muslims, but I'm not sure if they're Muslims or like Arabic. Like, I'm not sure the exact background, but a lot of people that are now, let's say, hostile towards the government. And if you criticize these people, you go to jail. So if you post on X in Canada and you say any sort of criticisms, they will show up and arrest your ass. That's really the problem over there.
People forget that the United States is really the only country in the world that has true freedom of expression. Even that has limits, as we learned earlier.
And apparently we've reached the bounds of where that needs to be.
We're testing those boundaries on a regular basis.
It's like when the universe found as big as it's going to get. We found the edge.
Yep.
And now we have to say, okay, you know what? The stuff over there.
How far can I get into that edge before I actually get sucked up into the abyss?
That's true. I mean, Indians, yes. Well, even more broadly, like that part of Asia, I would say. Like, Asia is really big, and they have a lot of population that can go to other places. And the problem is too and we talked about this last week as well. America's identity, like as a core foundational principle, has kind of become unstable. Like, it used to be very Christian centric, and like a lot of people had the same American values, whatever those ended up being. And now it's a lot of
they were Christian values.
It's very just anything goes, and like accepting of like the most bizarre minimal groups, which there's a difference between accepting and like promoting or like raising, like I don't know, like there's a set of values that if we all, like, let's say 99% of people share, it's not bad to say the other 1%, like, oh, we need to actually make your shit more important because we want to include you. It's like, no, we need to elevate the 99% and make sure it's clear that these are the values that we collectively agree are good and that we stand for, and we're not going to allow the dissolution or like the making it weaker. I'm trying to think of how you say it, like you like dissolve or like make it less strong, right? Like dilute exactly. We're not trying to dilute our core values. We want, if you come here, to either strengthen it or bring something that makes it stronger. So either inherently support what's already there or bring something to strengthen it, not something that breaks it. We're not looking for it to be broken down by a bunch of outsiders. That doesn't make sense.
No, and the second part of our national identity is the melting pot of our ancestors. And there's no reason for that not to continue. But all those people came in legally.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. There's like,
or they were the rare exceptions who got away with it. Because
if you migrate somewhere, like your goal should not be, in my opinion, to change where you're going. Your goal should, overall, like broadly speaking, if you go somewhere, your goal should be because you believe in the things that that place believes in, and you want to be a part of it, and
you should probably want to be a part of it in a way that you don't have to be fearful of living your life. Right. So it might take a little time and it might be kind of expensive, but it's doable.
Yeah.
So you know,
and
for some people.
If you have all these like, oh, you hate the system and all these things, and why did you leave the place that had the system that you supposedly are like promoting? Like,
right.
Like that doesn't
And
really
even
make
that,
sense.
the United States will still let you in if you don't have a bunch of money. Most other countries won't let you in unless you significantly contribute to the economy. Like you basically, like if we as a citizen of the United States wanted to move to Australia, we would have to be like billionaire tech giants or doctors or like someone who's really actually important to society. Like not just, I want to go. I just want to be. Like that doesn't fly with them. Like they need you to be like exceptional, and you have to bring something that benefits them.
Yeah, and I think that's where we're.
And I think
pushing
most
towards
countries
now.
are like that. Nobody.
Yeah,
wants
and
them
most
in the
countries
country
are
if
like
you're just
that.
gonna
Why
be a
we got to
burden.
be called out for
That
also
makes
wanting
sense.
to be like that? That doesn't even make sense. It's like we want to just be better. We want to get better and improve. We don't want to get
But
worse.
we will.
Why
but
is that
we
a
will
bad
still
thing?
let you in if you follow the rules and you want to work towards that. That's fine because this is a land of opportunity and you can improve yourself here. You just have to more or less follow the rules. And yes, you can get ahead by not following rules, but you're risking losing everything in the process. So that's on you.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So I don't know.
Not like we
I
don't
guess-
have crime. I'm just saying.
If you were watching the spectacularly stupid ravings of Whoopi Goldberg on the video.
The Iranians literally threw gay people off of buildings. They don't care basic human rights.
She's fallen since her time as Guinan.
Let's not do that, because if we start with that, we have...
Whoa, did you see how... Hold on, we got to back that up. Did you see... Like, she just started going into a convulsion. Hold on. Hold on.
Whoopi?
Ravings
Where's
of
she
Whoopi
convulsing?
Goldberg on the View.
The Iranians literally throw gay people off of buildings. They don't adhere to basic human
Listen,
rights.
here's the thing. Let's not do that, because if we start with that, we have been known in this country to tie gay folks to the car.
Where the Iranian regime is
Listen,
2 days,
I'm sorry,
is nothing
they used to
compared to
just
the
keep
United
hanging black people. So
It is not even the same. I couldn't step.
Whoa.
We're still
We
hanging
gotta
black
be
people?
we gotta be more
think so.
we need to be the bigger victim. She's saying no. Getting kicked off a building isn't that big of a deal compared to the suffering that Whoopi has clearly, she was tied to a car and
She is a very victimized person. Indeed.
She's
the
I mean,
richest
clearly,
victim I
look
know,
at
in
look
fact.
at how bad her life is, and like how bad society
It's
has
horrible.
outcome. This the terrible outcomes that she has received because society is just systemically complete. I mean, black people just can't
obvious
get ahead.
society is
It's not.
against her.
I don't know if I just said that but people. And women. I mean, black people and women. I mean, there's only 5 women here, but I mean, and I think she's black too. So I think 2 out of 5, she's at least partial. There's no way. And this lady doesn't have a brain. So we have a zombie, 2 black women. I think she's kind of maybe. Okay, I'm gonna get canceled for this, but I'm just saying clearly. They are disadvantaged and they can't get ahead. I mean, the U.S. just would never allow this to happen.
No, obviously, because they only make millions of dollars every year. And, I mean, they're so marginalized and put down. It's ridiculous.
Yes, Whoopi thinks it's the same. She thinks America and Iran are the same. The human rights abuses are the same. The fact that more than 90 million people are oppressed in Iran, and women doubly so, systematically subjugated by a brutal regime. She thinks that's the same as America. That is the modern left, folks. Dumb, dishonest, and dangerously delusional.
And that's why I am saying that it is the same. Murdering someone for their difference is not good. Whoever does it, it's not good. So that's why I said you weren't saying what I heard was not what you meant.
I think it's very different to live in the United States in 2025 than it is to live in Iran.
Not if you're black.
Not for everybody.
Not if you're black.
Not if you're black.
What? And did you? Again, so clearly Whoopi has she is just constantly I mean, she has been disenfranchised her whole entire
tough.
life. She's
it's
not
really hard because
she's definitely never got had any successes and definitely not in the United States for sure.
I mean, she's only been in like maybe 15 movies.
Oh, well.
And
yeah, exactly.
I mean, what? maybe 3 television shows, maybe only 2. I don't really know how many TV shows she's been. I know she's been on The View, and she was on Star Trek, which were both series.
Yeah, but even her role on Star Trek was so minimal. But even that, it's like,
she was a bartender, so
like, and how
that's like marginalized. She was the help,
but it was still a black woman in the role. It's like, yeah, it's a smallish role, but it was not. It could have been literally anyone. They could have just put a young white boy in there. Like, it could have been like literally anyone.
A robot. It could have been a robot.
Exactly. It could have been anyone.
Could have been a Muppet.
So
They
I
could
don't
have
know.
had a life-size Muppet operated by 5 people. Could have been. You never know. Like Jabba the Hutt. He had like 6 operators, though. He was really big.
Yeah. So I don't know. Freaky portraying Whoopi when he gets infected. Yes. And that's, she was just like spazzing out, like she couldn't. Exactly. Like someone looked at her in a kind of maybe a sideways, and I mean that's equivalent to this woman having to like chant "Death to America" and wear this hijab over her face or risk being killed. When's the last time you risked being killed, Whoopi? I don't know. I mean, I guess to her, it's every day. She just is in fear for her life constantly.
She steps outside as a black woman in America. It's, a rich black woman in America.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, a really rich and famous black woman in America.
The perpetrator will be punished. Is the same in Whoopi's warped mind as the state killing you because you're a minority, because you're gay or an infidel, for example. Let me be clear. The Iranian regime will hang you from a crane in the public square for crimes like blasphemy, witchcraft, homosexuality, and of course, if you dare show any dissent.
Witchcraft?
Who's doing witchcraft?
Apparently I want to accuse you of witchcraft.
Holy moly! Is this like the Salem shit, or are they actually doing it? Are they like sitting around with candles and like? Yeah, is it just like witch burner? She's a witch.
Pretty much.
I don't know.
I think they use it as an excuse.
Yeah, I mean, anywhere you look, you can find bad things. But I think overall in the U.S., I think there were times where things were a lot more corrupt. And I think generally, yeah, sure, there's corruption. But when I was in college, I had a lot of international friends. And one of my friends in particular would tell me about the corruption. Even, going to a toll road or something, if you were unfamiliar with the area, or if you were like not familiar with like the local country itself, because he was in a small country, they would take advantage of you all the time. And even if as a local, you'd have to be able to be aware of the things and like kind of call them out and be like, really, like you're gonna try and like whatever and like get a better rate or whatever on the bribery and all this stuff. It's like, holy moly. I mean, I get it. I mean, I at the same time, I've never in my entire life had to be like, oh, how much do I have to pay this cop to not get arrested, or how much do I have to like pay this office worker to actually file my permit, or like I've never had to deal with that kind of shit. Although at one point I did, when I was like looking more into like government contracts. That was a whole interesting thing of like, how much do you pay the senators? Yeah, that's true. But I would say at the more like day-to-day people level,
but those aren't bribes; those are donations.
Yeah, those are donations. It's like, how much are you going to donate? But
right,
it's
to get my attention. Right.
It's different for like a average day person though. You're not going to the grocery store and getting like screwed over by the clerk or whatever. It's
right.
I think it's very different.
Bag boys, like I think I lost your groceries unless I find $5 in my hand.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. So I don't know. I think there's a lot more worser places. Not to say that your bar should be what's the worst place, but I think we actually have a decent bar that's not like.
No, yeah.
I think we can be at least somewhat proud. And
we have bad areas, but we generally have those bad areas well defined. So in most places, you can go out and not be too worried about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Whoopi thinks that's pretty much how black folks are treated in America. You absolute disgrace of a human being, Whoopi, to show absolutely no regard for the Iranian women who risk their lives to challenge the Islamist government, to minimize their struggle and compare it to your fever dreams about oppression in America in 2025. You know, it's been sickening to witness.
Fever dreams. That is the truth. It's like they need it to be true. They want it to be true. They believe it to be true. They talk as if it is true, but if we look, like, I think Whoopi brought this up.
I
like
love how they talk about it so how everyone knows it's true.
Well, I mean,
Like,
obviously.
we just know it's true. Obviously it's true, right?
Obviously. And
obviously. You must be an idiot.
I feel like Whoopi is constantly being sued for the things she. I don't know how this show is still on. It's probably costing a fortune with how many times she gets sued. But
they all get sued a lot. They've all said
she called out some donut shop, and apparently they had like a very specific type of donut that it was like you knew the shop.
Yeah, I remember, and they got sued over it because they defamed them.
Yeah, and she's like, literally, the machine was broken. We couldn't make the donuts. And she's like, oh, they discriminated against. They wouldn't make me a donut for my birthday because I'm black.
Right, because I'm
like,
black.
okay, right. You're
Really?
going to not give Whoopi Goldberg a donut on her birthday because she's a black woman? Are you fucking kidding me? Like,
right.
Can you use your brain? Is it in there? Is it work? Or like, what is happening? I don't understand.
Well, she's a victim.
Oh my God, corn syrup. I got rid of corn syrup out of my life a long ass time ago. Been better for it ever since. We did find out actually the yellow dye number 3 is what makes trans. And that's why America has so many compared to the rest of the world. So I'm glad we're getting rid of it. And yes, it is a scam. They make people sick so that they can make them have to take all these pills and shit. And then America has the highest prices for the pills. And I'm glad we finally pushed this preferred customer thing. So now America gets, no matter anywhere in the world that this drug is sold, whatever the lowest rate is, that's what America pays. So that is coming, which, hallelujah, how the fuck? Because they said, oh, America gets to pay for all the R&D, and then the rest of the world get to benefit from it. Are you kidding me? How the fuck? It should be the other damn way around. Anyway, but yeah, healthcare, all kind of crazy. They make kids sick. They make kids stupid. Kids are so stupid these days. It is unfucking believable. Hold on. We have to bring it back. We have to bring it back. It's a crowd favorite. I can't not bring it back. Hold on 1 minute. Oh, here it is. This is children's. This is children's. I'm going to have to...
It's hot on the bottom. It's hot on the bottom. Okay. It's motherfucking hot on the bottom!
What the fuck? They don't know anything? They can't do anything? I firmly believe they are building a class of human that is going to be like the servient, like they needed a generation of more or less complete retards that can only do what they're told and nothing else, which I don't know if that reminds you of any other type of people in history, but yeah, I think we have intentionally developed a generation of people that will be the working indenturitude of the future.
They're perfectly suitable for sitting in a chair and pushing buttons.
Or walking coffee over, or doing literally anything as long as they're told exactly. You can't say, take this here. You have to say, grab it by the handles so you don't burn your hands into oblivion, you retard.
Third-degree burns.
Unreal. And that's what is happening. So they're making people unhealthy. They're making them retarded. So they have no hope going forward. Everywhere else includes a tax in the price. Really? I didn't know that. But yes, at the U.S., we get to kind of guess at the end what our price will be, because they can't just, this is $5, this is $10. Let's keep a tally in our head. It's like, nope, this is $3.69 plus a 6% tax, and this one's a food, so it's no tax, and this one is a you know, it's got a some sort of compliance, export, overhead tax, and a sales administration fee, and a this and a whatever, and who knows what your bill is going to be at the end. Yeah, exactly. They can make artillery shells, and they can just follow orders. Here, weld this. Here's how you weld. Get your hands out of the way. Just do this over and over all day, and we'll pay you enough that you can play your Xbox when you get home and completely check out of life. And, you know, I don't know, man. I am just so... I look at these kids, I'm like, they can't do anything. They have... You tell them at a high level anything, and they're just like lost. They need feedback every 5 seconds. They can't take a minute to just think about things and think like, oh, is this what needs to be done? No, it's like, oh, tell me exactly, did I do a good job? Like, Jesus God, man. Yeah, they're not ripe yet. $11 million for Whoopi. From The View. Unreal. And
$11 million.
And all these lawsuits, like, I don't even know how much she costs, like, on top of everything. Like, how much money could
make a lot.
I mean, the advertising, they know their audience very well, so they can do extremely targeted advertising, and they know that they're idiots that will literally buy anything they're told to buy. So
Yep.
I feel like, yeah, maybe that's the play
Oprah
here.
effect.
Yeah.
If Oprah says I'm going to buy it, I'm going to buy 5 of them.
Yeah, I mean, if it shows up on this show filled with intelligent, diverse women, of course it must be a good buy. Yes. Here we have kilogram price next to the price of the products and the liter price with drinks. We have something similar, but I think a lot of people are too stupid to know how, like, an ounce compares. So it'll be like, this is 21 cents an ounce, and the box will be like 3.7 pounds, and they'll be like,
yeah,
no idea. They're just like,
really?
Their eyes go cross, and they have no way of possibly. They don't even understand. They can just use the ounce comparison everywhere, and it's fine. They can just ignore the other. Nope, it just doesn't. It doesn't click. We have the dumbest people in the. It's crazy. We have like the smartest people and the dumbest people. But I mean, they're dumb, but I mean, I've definitely seen dumber people, but
it's not dumb like they're stupid. It's just like they're dumb because they don't actually apply knowledge. So it's like stupidity from laziness.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like
well, exactly. It is laziness, and it is absolutely
like,
laziness. They have no motivation.
Do the smart thing or even figure out what the smart thing is. And if it doesn't work, I will just complain about it and cry victim. Because I can do that.
Yeah. Oh, you watched the video after the donut incident? Yeah, I know. It's crazy. I don't know, but I mean, the advertising must be there. She must. But that's the thing. If she didn't cost them so much.
She was hilarious. She was so funny. She was in all those movies. Her stand-up was really good. And then she got her part on Star Trek, and she kind of went mainstream. And then The View, and she became like ultra woke.
Yeah, I mean, she had so much success in this country.
Yeah,
like living
like
this country's dream.
Like, why are you complaining?
You come from nothing and then become
Sister Act 2 and 3. So I mean, it's not like she didn't have a success.
Yeah, it's crazy. I hate these people that
her breakout movie was like a. It was, I can't remember the name of it. It was like Roots or something like that. It was like a. I mean, like, got all the nominations and all that stuff back in the day. I think that's what the breakout movie was.
I appreciate the follow as well. Definitely, we're here to have a great time. Appreciate all opinions and anything you want to throw in the chat. As long as you're not like yelling at other people in the stream, you are good to go, brother. Yeah, I mean, she was good, and I think overall, like when she does her entertainment stuff.
Yes,
I don't have a problem with her. It's only when she gets into this kind of dumb shit and like has to be a victim. When you're a multi-millionaire, like very successful person in life, and you're pulling a victim card, is like, I don't know.
It's
like
weird. It's like
it's super
I'm one of the
weird.
Most rich and powerful and recognized people on the planet, and I'm a victim. It's like, huh? If you're a victim, I must be a victim. But wait, I'm not because I'm white and I'm a male.
Yeah, it's yeah, you definitely. I mean, both of us. We can't
Somehow,
be victims. There's
I don't
no
know
way.
what happened. I was born, and all of a sudden, I was part of something called patriarchy, and I'm a bad
Yeah,
boy.
apparently you are very privileged, Freaky, and you need to understand that your privilege makes you better than everyone. So you better figure that out.
Exactly. I haven't figured it out yet. I'm working on it.
Let's see. The Color Purple. Wait, wasn't that like a sex movie?
No, it was a race movie. It was about
I'm
say,
thinking
slavery
50
and
Shades
stuff.
of Grey.
Oh,
All right,
yeah,
The
you're
Color
thinking of 50
Purple.
Shades of Grey.
I know. I'm
Very
like, I don't think
movie,
Whoopi is a
yeah.
good for a sex
Very
movie.
different
No.
I kind of hope not.
Yeah, facing
My
racial
favorite
challenges
movie
during
with
your
her,
career
it was
back in the
Jumpin' Jack
50s
Flash. I
or
thought
something,
that
that
was
makes
very
sense. Not in the
fun movie.
2015s.
She had a slightly darker like crime movie called Fatal Beauty that was decent. And the first Sister Act movie was very good. I remember liking it. I don't think I saw the second one. I think they had 3. I don't remember.
Yeah, so I don't know. And I think this lady, what was this, Joy something or other? I think it's this woman in the middle also like gets sued every so often.
Yeah, the woman with the orange hair.
Is it orange?
It looks orange to me. I guess it's reddy orange. I don't know if it's
leftist feminists who just
sure it's
3 years
dyed.
ago said they stood with the women of Iran as they fought.
And then this woman, I'm pretty sure she's the conservative one out of the group. And she will say like reasonable things from time to time. The rest of them, and this woman, she's the dumbest person in the world, and I hate her. She is so fucking stupid. And I think she does another show too, because I see her on another channel too, giving her dumbass opinion on things. And she is she is so dumb. It is unreal.
Well, I think they need to have a not so intelligent person in order to contrast everyone else's opinion on the show.
Sweden has it so bad that they have zones in their country that the police won't enter without calling the army. Oh my God, it's the rap capital of Europe, the safest country to unsafe in 10 years due to immigration. And exactly, that's the immigration bullshit. Poland was like, nope, you bitches want to try and come in here, we will shoot you. And that's after you're crawling through barbed wire. So you can crawl in the barbed wire and we will shoot you and we will leave your body there for everyone to see.
Crazy.
And guess what? They don't have a problem.
No, they don't have
Is anyone surprised by this? That's what I'm saying. It's like the obvious thing, and it's like it's just do the obvious thing and everything will be better. Now, to be fair, I mean, there's places, I mean, I don't know that the army would need to be called in, but there's definitely places here that I think the police don't particularly like to go into or won't, generally speaking, but
yeah, at least not unless it's in force.
Yeah, so I mean that happens, but that's also,
That's part of the problem having a country that's particularly large. Like we're really big country spread out.
Yeah, it is really
Was it
big.
50 states? Or is it 50 states?
For now.
It's a lot of states. There's 48 because kind of Alaska and Hawaii are kind of on their own. So not connected to anyone.
Soon, hopefully, we'll have 51. If only. I'm pretty sure by the end of the presidency, it'll be like there will actually be a shot at
the great
Canada
state of
converting.
Greenland.
I'm talking Canada, baby.
The great state of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
America's backyard.
He's gonna try and charge them so much money for the missile defense system, and then I wouldn't be surprised if he egged on Kim Jong-il to shoot some missiles over to Canada and be like, hey,
look, we stopped them all.
Yeah,
money.
look at this. Do you want to be part of this or not?
Montreal, you owe us money.
So I don't know. I think he's gonna do some real gangster shit and really put pressure on them to just give it up. I mean, same for Greenland, but I mean overall, I mean, Denmark doesn't really do anything with them. And it's like overall, I mean, they were talking about if they gave every citizen $1 million, it would still not even cost that much to acquire.
What, Greenland?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. There's not that many people in Greenland. There's
Exactly.
Not a lot.
Be like, give them all a bunch of money and be like, hey, vote to be American and we'll give you all this money. They will vote.
And they actually kind of are receptive to the idea of becoming part of America.
They are. It's Denmark that's having a fit about it.
As far as I know. But what I've heard from them in interviews is like, yeah, we think the United States is pretty good and we would love to join them.
Yeah, Alberta is looking at it, and they got like sections that are trying to break apart because all that stupid immigration stuff and all this bizarre like people getting arrested for posting stuff on social media. Like, yeah, they're fucking fragmenting and their own. I mean, their government, just like us, they have like kind of extreme people on either side, and it only is getting worse. And some people don't want to be part of all that bullshit, and I wouldn't.
Yeah. No, me either.
If I was in Canada right now and I saw Trump coming in, like putting things back in order, I'd be like, you know what? That doesn't look so bad, to be honest. And I mean, our taxes compared to Canada, holy shit, it's night and day. So first off, you're going to get things back in order and you're going to be richer and you're going to have the defense of the strongest country in the fucking world. What is a problem?
Yeah, I don't know.
And we're pretty much integrated already. It's not like we even have to do much. It's like, okay, this line on the map is now a soft line.
We called you a province. You're now a state. Congratulations.
Yep. We just graduated.
You got to ratify and write your constitution and submit it for approval.
And maybe we'll put a road or something. And now there you go.
Yeah, and we'll open the borders and we'll build more bridges and tunnels because why not? And those poor people who are stuck on the other side of the border won't have to be worried about having their passports whenever they want to go out and get something at Walmart.
Yeah, it's insane.
There's two cities like that, one on our side, one on their side. It's kind of weird. It's like, really? Why don't we just flip them? Like, I don't know. Stupid.
Hungary is paying €1 million fine a day for not accepting refugees, and their president even jokes how it's saving them money because they don't have to pay the social payments of hosting them. And that's the thing. At some point, if you do the economics, it's like if the don't raise the fine.
Back in the 80s and stuff, he had companies that would just dump their waste because the EPA fines were so little.
It's just cheaper. I mean, even a lot of this labor stuff, like they're trying to find them. It's not enough. It's not enough money to change the behavior, and it's not enough personal accountability. You have a liability on a company of a line item. It's like, oh, okay, we got a one-time, line item of this fee because we used all this illegal labor for so long, but it's still overall positive. Like. And we can keep doing it going forward because the expected, return is still going to be profitable or whatever. It's like, holy moly. No, you need a CEO to go to jail or at least, quote unquote, a soft jail, go serve some time in like a pansy prison or something. But whatever, at least make it seem like you're doing something and get the people to think twice and be like, you know what? It's not. As we'll save a little bit of money, but it's just not worth it. And frankly, I think the other thing people don't realize is, I don't know if you've ever seen any of these farm equipment, but let me see if I can pull something up quick. What is it? High tech farm equipment. Yeah.
Ashley stars.
So we have like all of this like migrant labor and like, oh, who could possibly pick a cherry off a whatever, or like get a cucumber out of the ground, and then you look at this and it's like,
Welcome to Smart Tech.
Okay,
the channel where
this thing just drives through and like picks up all the pumpkins and it as it's going, and it's like all of them are perfectly intact, and it's like. It's measuring how big it is, and the ones that are too small, it's putting it into the shredder and like pooping it out as fertilizer. It's like, holy crap!
A real spectacle. This duo,
it's like, how fast is that? how many people you need?
The powerful
2, 1 to drive it and 1 to fix it.
Conditions with ease.
Yeah, exactly. But what I'm saying, like, how much migrant labor equivalent and how much this machine costs versus like, and how much years do you get out of this machine? Although the one thing I heard people say is these are like hard to repair.
Between AI and automation, I don't think we really need cheap labor anymore.
Exactly.
Pumpkin harvest.
Invest in the automation. Invest in automation. Invest in making the tools better.
The machine uses a series of cutting blades and conveyors.
It means people have to be more educated as well, because you can't make a living out of digging ditches anymore.
Exactly. You have to know how to fix the machine, or you have to know how to operate the machine, or you have to know how to operate the fleet that, you know, it's going to be more of a managerial. It's going to be a more of a, keep the system working correctly because it's extremely efficient when it's running correctly. Not you have all these people. I went out to California on a farm and I had to talk to some of the people that actually were doing the work. First off, most of them did not speak English, which whatever. The couple people I had to work with spoke English. Great. As soon as they stopped working to talk to me and show me some stuff. In about 30 minutes in, someone came over and like scolded them for like not working enough. Even though they were working with me and I was there for reasons and whatever, but they weren't right. They don't like have any bandwidth to go do anything, to think about anything. It's you have to just work. Okay, how about you get a machine that can do all the work of those 30 people and it does it in half a day? Okay, what is the cost difference, right? And now you can build another machine and you don't have to train 30 people. You don't have to worry about, is he talking to the guy who's here to do whatever? The machine's just running and it's doing it good. Shit. Let's see. Oh, I'm missing a few things. You should invade Canada? I don't know. I mean, we probably could and we'd win, but I don't know if that would be good optics. Although you would get a fuck ton of liberals to shit your I mean, let's see. Gift from the gods. I mean, it's true. It would be a gift to them. However, I think we know people coming on their own is what you want to lead the horse. You don't want to shove its face into the water and drown it.
Yeah, because then it might kick you.
Yeah, that's exactly, and
that's dangerous.
Or have a future resentment that you're not necessarily prepared for,
and then you may not be paying attention. It throws you when you're like sleeping.
Right. I will maybe look into ad blocker or something, but I don't know. I normally support the YouTube as much as possible. Let's see. John Deere Software is locking their machines. That is the one thing I've heard is they make it difficult to repair and to just do what you need to with the machine, which I'm kind of 50-50 on. Yeah. If you bought it, you should really be able to do more or less whatever.
Put that on purpose. Purposeful engineering.
I mean, to an extent, but if you think about how complicated and specialized the machine is, it's like, first off, nobody else is making this kind of machine. So there's some proprietary, like, how do we pick up a pumpkin without breaking it, right? Like, okay, and do it all day, every day, thousands of pumpkins, like.
They figured out how to do it. They should benefit from that.
Right.
But that's what patents are for.
But things like brake pads or like,
figured out how to transport grain without using moving parts made gajillions of dollars, and all he did was a patent on a really good idea. So,
oh my God, I'm missing all kind of my dinger's dinging a whole bunch. Hold on, I gotta backtrack. Theodore Rex was a good movie. No idea what that is. Hold on.
I don't know what that is either. That must have had Whoopi in it, because that's when we were talking about Whoopi.
Oh, is this the dinosaur from like the teenage dinosaur from Dinosaurs? Interesting. I don't know if I saw that movie. Interesting. I don't know about all of Canada, but some are trying to separate. Yep, Alberta. Canada is making lifted trucks illegal.
It'd be easier if
weird.
there were parts already connected to us, like Ontario.
Oh,
But most
now
of
we got some
Canada is in the
spam
south,
trying to
so-
win back the first place. We have a battle of the ones and twosies
Battle
here.
of
Damn it,
places.
Bobby. Oh,
They're fighting
Sabrina,
for it. They're fighting for it.
You know, you are awesome. I would really like to know what my superpower is. I too, and
I had a superpower, but I don't think it's active anymore.
not the mama. That's like they had like a teen son and like a teen daughter. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word for some reason. They had like a teen and then a baby. There was 3 kids, right? Am I right or no?
You're talking about the Incredibles?
No, the dinosaurs.
Oh, the show Dinosaurs?
Yeah. Isn't this the
There was
dinosaur,
a-
like the
There's
middle-aged?
3 kids. There was the daughter was the oldest, then the middle son.
Oh, you're saying
who
this
was-
is the girl one?
And then the little baby.
I don't know. I'm not sure who that is, but I think maybe. All right. What's going on over here? If you mean
And
to
they
buy
had a granny,
something,
too,
you
I
should
think.
be able to fix it. I agree with that. Yeah, in not being able to legal. I mean, for the most part, I definitely agree with it. It gets a little bit funny with software because, how much of the software should you be required to share so that it can even be supported by another party? But things like physical, well-known components like brakes, like a hydraulic system that moves an arm or something, or like the claw itself, like if I need to replace a part or whatever, all of these things should be very much in scope, especially if you buy something. Now, if you like lease a tractor or something, obviously there could be some terms or whatever that come with it. But if you buy something, I don't know.
I know Ziggy, he just won't stop. He won't
What?
stop. He keeps going. He said this is the last thing. That was like, I swear that was an hour and 15 minutes ago.
What? I mean, we got more people joining us. They're having a good time. I'm just babbling around. And
we
where do
gotta
you
get
see
ready for
that?
our
Where
normal
are you
stream.
seeing the chat before me?
Apparently, yeah. It says he said it's 7 days time. It's the last.
Damn
chat I
it!
see.
How come you realized what that meant? And I'm an idiot. Damn it! You guys have a secret code or something?
25 minutes ago. I think we're supposed to start at 7 now. Aren't we? Or trying to?
Ah, Ziggy, I just took it from you.
TeamVenture
All right.
stole the second place.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think they should be able to lock things like brakes and stuff. Like all that. Anything mechanical that fails, I mean, unless it's like extremely proprietary in its nature, I don't know how that would even be possible. But yeah, I think you should really be able to fix your own shit. And especially what gets me is the replacement parts. Like, if a manufacturer says you have to use a specific part that's only supplied by a specific supplier, and especially if that supplier is then charging a super premium. I see this all the time. We sell a certain piece of hardware that has like a hook attachment, and they'll sell the hook for $50 through the vendor. It's a $1 hook from Home Depot. It's the same hook.
You're getting threats.
What?
Oh wait, maybe Bobby's who's getting threats, Ziggy? Who are you threatening? I think he's threatening you.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he says he's gonna hurt your character.
Yeah, I already been killed by all my friends a bunch of times, so I'm not even worried about it, Ziggy.
When it happened by me, it was an accident. All the times it happened, it's totally an accident.
If you would like, we have a Discord. Let me see if I can pull it up. If you have anything political related or news related or anything you think might make sense to pull up on this stream, you are more than welcome to leave a thread in our Discord. And we'll pull it up. But we are going to be wrapping up for this evening.
In comments, do we not have comments enabled?
Usually you can't post links to things in the comments.
Oh, I didn't
If
know-
it lets
I
you,
didn't
great,
know
go
that.
ahead, go for it, but I don't think it will let you. You can throw that
makes
into our
sense
Discord.
Now that I think about it.
Typically we run games. We're going to be switching over to games here in a little bit. We run a lot of 7 Days to Die and other zombie related games. We also do the next RedNex news on the weekends and some financial stuff. We'd love to see you in the future.
Yeah,
to
make
have
sure you
join
subscribe
us.
so you get notifications.
Yeah, and if you have anything that we should look at, we're happy to pull it up and chat about it. But we are going to need...
We interact with our audience in that
All
way.
right, let me... Okay, perfect. It does let you then. I will grab that and throw that into our reactions. But we need a moment to eat and get ready for our game, so we're going to be signing off here in a moment. Appreciate everyone joining us. Sabrina, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate everything that you do. Ziggy, of course, love having you here. Yes, it's 7 days time. I get confused. Bobby, always a pleasure. I hope you're having a great holiday. Inspins, thank you so much for chatting with us and throwing out your insight. I grabbed a link to what you have here. Let me just make sure I have it one more time. And we'll check that out next time. I hope you're having a great holiday as well if you're in the U.S. And if not, I hope you're having a great weekend.
I think
we'll
India
catch up
had
with
their
you all
Independence
very
Day
soon.
too, so
Enjoy
if you're in
some
India.
jazz on the way out. And we'll talk with you all very soon. Ziggy, you're not going to do it, buddy. Good luck.
Under the moonlight, grown in the sight. Captain Pav and GONxFREAKS, they're ready to fly. Through endless hordes, one step at a time. In the zombie apocalypse, they're feeling sublime. With the swing of a bat and a flash of a blade, TeamVenture moves their courage on fate. They laugh in the face of a world gone mad. At Peters they'll feast, there's no reason to be sad. Oh, TeamVenture, they're fighting to